This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than a roof above the people you love. Call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411 and ask to speak to Tommy, the owner. They specialize in all kinds of roofs, led by their highly crafted, skilled, and professional roof mechanics. All of their previous customers have an opportunity to enter their bi-weekly drawings to receive free an exterior impact metal door. Please call for more details. That's Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411. Trust Tommy to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family.
Hey, it's Big O. Protect your home the way we do with Sloman's Home Security, folks. And if you want some great news, how about this? A free doorbell camera. That's right. The first 40 Big O listeners who dial 1-800-ALARM-ME will get this limited time offer of a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your smartphone with installation of your Sloman's Shield. And that's not all, folks. Sloman's is going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're getting an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and backup battery. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 Big O listeners to call 1-800-ALARM-ME, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman's Shield. Keep your family safe like we do here in the Alzigari family. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME.
South Florida's premier law enforcement agency is now hiring individuals like you. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department is now accepting applications for non-certified and certified police officer positions. Minimum requirements and qualifications can be found at flpdjobs.com. That's flpdjobs.com. Are you ready? The city of Fort Lauderdale is an equal opportunity employer.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show. Judge, you tuned in to the hottest sports radio.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Rally Pablo in the...
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Show O's on the radio, the top's where we gonna go, Miami, that's the way we roll.
Folks, you can support the hardest working sports talk show in South Florida through Cash App or Venmo. Just search Cash Big O Show. Support us through Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. We thank you for your incredible support.
On the morning show, we go. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Live and direct, because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live.
When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today. 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com. The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
The Big O Radio Show is brought to you by Sports Grill. Good food, good drinks, good friends. Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealership in the Southeast United States. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department. The FLPD is hiring. Go to FLPDjobs.com.
The Big O Radio Show originates from the OK Coin Studios. Invest a little time and save big. Just set the recurring buy and pay, 0 transaction fee after your first purchase. The Big O Radio Show is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley from the OK Coin Studios. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Righty. Good morning, boys and girls, on a beautiful Monday, a championship Monday, right? We just coming off the championship games. We got our Super Bowl set. I was going to go out to Los Angeles, but I held out on that. But we're going to go instead to Vegas shortly. So we'll be having some fun out there. Anyway, hope you all are doing well. Hope you had a great weekend. It was a lot of fun watching the games on Sunday. A lot of drama, a lot of things could have gone either way. It started ugly, that KC and Bengals game going out to 21-3, and then the amazing comeback, and the defense for Cincinnati played like, I don't think any of us really think they can play, and they shut down one hell of an offense, and that is just, I mean, impressive. I will say this: I'm rooting for Cincinnati in a big time way. I could not be a bigger Cincinnati Bengals fan this next 2 weeks, I guess, right now, because I mean, look, I look at our situation as Dolphin fans. We've been waiting for a long time. Well, Cincinnati's been waiting forever. You got to understand the Cincinnati Bengals, and I was explaining this to my daughter last night. And not that, she's my daughter's my daughter only likes hockey, but like her boyfriend now is kind of gotten her a little bit more into some of the other sports. And so that's cool. And so so she's watching more basketball now, and she's watching a little bit of football. Not that she's really into them. She's really like only into hockey. So I was explaining to her, and same to some of you out there that may not know the history, and you're watching that game yesterday. Okay, you're young, you're not really thinking about this. But this is a team that came in to the AFL in the mid 60s. Kansas City the AFL was started by the owner, Lamar Hunt, who wanted a team in the NFL and couldn't get one, and then went to create his own league in the AFL. And even bigger than that, they were the Dallas Texans when they started in the AFL in 1960. And they were the better team in town. They were better than Tom Landry's Cowboys and the NFL. They ended up winning a championship in the AFL. And after winning the championship, they moved to Kansas City. And Lamar Hunt did that because he knew it was the only way to grow his league, to separate himself and go find his own city that his team could dominate, even though his team could kick the NFL's ass in the Dallas Cowboys. Because, something that would never happen today, Tom Landry sucked for the first few years in Dallas before he actually figured it out. He would have never survived in today's world. We would have never found out about Tom Landry in today's world. How crazy is that? But anyway, that's just a whole nother story. But the Cincinnati Bengals have been in there since, the AFL days. And I've told you guys this story before. The West Coast offense was born in Cincinnati. It wasn't born in San Francisco. Bill Walsh was under, Coach Brown in Cincinnati, and they were having trouble running the ball. So all of a sudden they started to come up with a short passing game, which Paul Brown ended up developing into the West Coast offense. And Bill Walsh was one of his coaches. Bob Trumpy was his tight end. Sam Weish was his quarterback. All those kind of things. And all these guys that morphed later on developed, into coaches and all that in this league, and that we all saw later on. And so Cincinnati has never won anything. They've never won in the AFL. They've never won in the NFL. And those of us that are old enough, not necessarily, those of you that are old enough for the AFL days, I was a child in those days. But what happened with Cincinnati then. And then we all know the year with Ken Anderson, and they had an opportunity then. And then obviously with Boomer Esiason right here in our backyard in Miami, where, what was the guy's name? Stanley something was in a cocaine haze or something like that and was arrested the night before that game. And remember, Joe Montana had the drive against Cincinnati to then end up, that final drive to end up winning, not the drive of Elway against the Browns, but I'm saying a drive to end up winning and lifting the Niners over the Bengals. And so the Bengals have had 2 opportunities at the big prize, and they haven't been able to capture it. And they have been in the league forever and haven't been able to win anything. And considering our beloved Miami Dolphins haven't won anything since 1974, this gives me some hope. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So you think about it. The last time the Dolphins won a title, it's just a few years after the Bengals entered the AFL, which then turned into the NFL shortly after, because the Bengals and the Dolphins came into the AFL at the same time. So it's just one of those deals. And as a Dolphins fan, I find myself, I got to root for the Bengals, because if the Bengals can win it all, then there's hope for us to, turn it around and figure it out and win a championship for once in our lives. I mean, not one, you know what I mean? It's the last time we won, I was a child. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's so long ago that it just happened in a completely 8 lifetimes ago. So we need one. We need one. And so that's where I'm going with the Bengals now. I'm gonna go with the Bengals because I'm hoping that, hey man, if the Bengals can do it, then come on, man. Miami Dolphins have got to be able to do it too. You know what I'm saying? So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Hopefully that will lead to something that we will benefit from down the line. But it was good. It's fun. And you also have to feel good for Bengals fans. These kind of fan bases, I've talked about this before, the Bengals and the Lions, and these are fan bases that I have no ill will towards them, man. I root for them. I want a Browns fan to celebrate a championship. I want a Bengals fan to celebrate a championship. I want a Lions fan to celebrate a championship. Most of all, I want a Dolphins fan to celebrate a championship, but we're not there right now. So the day our boys are Stanley Wilson. That's it. That's it. Stanley Wilson. Somebody came up with Stanley Roberts, Ralph Bailey. That's the LSU center from back in the day, Stanley Roberts. Long ass arms. Not only was he 7 foot, but he might have had the arm length of like a 12-footer or something. I mean, that dude was huge. I remember that. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So I'm rooting for those guys. You know what I mean? Pinkster says Zach Taylor, former Dolphin assistant. Yes. Yeah, they've got a couple of Dolphin assistants on that staff, But then again, like some guy goes, well, we had Taylor here and we didn't know it. I'm just like, that's 10 years ago, dude. Relax. Like nobody knew 10 years ago what was going to happen. And, it is what it is. It's been a good run for them, and God bless them, man. It's a great story. It's we watch some of the same teams win all the time, and this is actually pretty cool. The Rams haven't won it since, the Kurt Warner days. So it hasn't been like forever, but it's been a while for them overall. And that's pretty cool. And they're in Los Angeles, which is different, right? Because to get back to a Los Angeles championship, I think we have to go back to the Purple People leaders, because the Vince Ferragamo teams and Flipper Anderson and all those kind of guys, they didn't win a championship, right? So we have to go back to the Purple People Eater days of Merlin Olsen and company, of maybe that's when, they were having the big success. But now that's something also that the Rams in Los Angeles haven't celebrated a championship in, I don't know, what was the last year? Somebody help me out there. Sean, look it up for me. What was the last year the Rams won the NFL championship? Must have been in the 50s, right? With the Purple People Eaters. The Purple People Eaters was late 50s, early 60s or something like that, I want to say. God, it was a while ago. I got to remember my history exactly, but I think it's somewhere in that area. And I think they have a title from those days, if I'm correct. Look it up for me there. The Fearsome Foursome. That's right. What did I say? Purple People. Yeah, it's the Minnesota Vikings. The Fearsome Foursome. Yes. Whatever. Yes. Fearsome Foursome. Yes, exactly. Anyway, so the Fearsome Foursome was nasty. I want to say it was late 50s, early 60s. Sean will get me the stat there, and we'll figure it out. Brian says Ross has to hire Harbaugh, who will definitely not want Tua and tell Greer that he was given a chance and failed. Step aside, step outside of the building. Tua and Greer are the problem. Whatever, Brian. Whatever you want, bro. I mean, it's, to me, I don't think that I don't think Harbaugh is a good pick personally for me. I think Harbaugh is a mediocre coach. I will tell you this, Dolphin Nation. You'll have to convince me that that's a good hire. I think hiring Harbaugh is a terrible hire. What's he done in Michigan? You got an answer for me? What'd the Fearsome Foursome do?
It says 1979 they lost to the Steelers. That's the only time.
No, that's the Vince Ferragamo. But the fearsome foursome of I want to say it's the 50s and 60s, the Rams. So maybe they didn't win it in those days. They were just nasty and really, really good. But I thought they won one at least.
It says they only reached the.
Oh, no, so they didn't win it, huh?
It says they only reached the playoffs twice in Los Angeles, losing both times the dynasties in 79, the Steelers, and 2018 to the Patriots.
Oh, okay, so it doesn't even have the early stuff from the Rams. Okay, that's weird. I thought they won one back in those days.
I'm just going off. I'll keep doing some looking, but this is the one article that came
Maybe it's
up.
called, you know what? NFL Championship. Don't look for Super Bowl because it wasn't called Super Bowl. It was called NFL Championship. Did the Rams win an NFL championship? That's what it is. Xavier Combs says 51. See, I knew it's 50, and I thought it was late 50s. So thank you, Xavier. It's early 50s. He has them. So might be right. But anyway, so you got it there? He's working the phone. Look at him working the phone. We're watching you. We're watching you find stats. Look at the talents of Sean Stanley trying to find.
All right, here we go on Wikipedia for the Los Angeles Rams. They've got the where's the championships here? Team history championships. They won the NFL championship in 45 and 51.
There you go. 45 and 51. Okay. There you go. I figured that they won it a long time ago back in the day. So in Los Angeles, they haven't won one in 71 years. So that's a long time for the Rams not to win a championship in Los Angeles. 71 years, dude. That's nasty. That is nasty. Wow. Crazy Legs Hirsch. There you go. I was able a couple years ago. My buddy and I, Greep, we went to Los Angeles for a week, and we were able to get in a game at the Coliseum before they moved to the new stadium. And I wanted to go to the Dolphin game, but I couldn't. But we ended up going to the Rams and the Seahawks. It was actually a pretty cool game, and I was happy because that's like one of the, Green Bay's like the other one left, and Chicago's been kind of, modernized or whatever, but it's still the basically it is the stadium that's been there forever. So there aren't a lot of those left of those classic stadiums. I got to go up to Green Bay once. Now, let me get back to the Harbaugh thing. Let me make my point here on Harbaugh. I think Harbaugh would be an absolutely terrible hire. Okay? And I hope I'm dead wrong if they do hire him, which I don't think they're hiring him. I don't even think he's on the radar, to be honest with you. I know there are stories out there. Nobody that is like credible is reporting this. Okay? This is all coming from some small outlet, some dude out there that nobody really knows and is not known as an insider whatsoever. So I don't expect it to be true. And I've heard it. Look, folks, if they're keeping the defense, let me forget that. Let me explain why. I'll explain that other stuff later because that's another part of the whole thing to talk about. But the Harbaugh thing would be a terrible hire. Okay? He has done nothing in Michigan. Considering all the resources he has no business for even keeping his job. I don't care what Ross thinks, says, believes, whatever. I don't trust Ross anyways when it comes to his football opinion. So that really doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I like him as an owner. I like him for the Dolphins. He spends money, all of that. He's just got to find the right combination. But I don't necessarily trust his football IQ at all. Okay? So I don't really give a rat's ass what Ross thinks. All right? And I know he's a Michigan homer, and he's a fan, like a lot of you out there. Look, Michigan has done nothing under that guy. And what he did in San Francisco, let me explain something to you all. It went the other way. It never got any better. It peaked because Schneider and McLaughlin they had a run through the draft. that was unheard of. Okay? It was nasty. They had picks. I should actually go find, I should do that just for the hell of it. But Harbaugh he was in the right place at the right time, and this happens a lot of times with folks. Some guys are in the right place at the right time. Doesn't necessarily make them a good coach. Like some of you out there, you actually think that Jack McKeon's a good manager? Give me a break, dude. Jack McKeon was a mediocre manager, always was a mediocre manager. He's a cute little old man that forgot names, smoked cigars, and the filter was out. So we enjoyed his company, and he was a character, but he was a mediocre manager. Wasn't a good manager. He just got lucky. He was in the right place at the right time. Everything fell into place in 2003. It wasn't because he had any kind of magic. What the hell is wrong with any of you people? It's the whole thing like John Gruden. He inherits a monster, you know, lifetime defense in Tampa, and he got a couple of offensive pieces, just like Jeffrey Loria got Pudge and Urbina and Pierre, and got and Redmond, 3-4 pieces to what was already there, established, and they end up winning a title. It's really Dombrowski's work. It's really Dungy's work. It's really Rich McKay's work. Those are the people that laid the groundwork. And then it peaked. It got its Super Bowl, not because John Gruden's anything great. It's because he lucked into the right thing. And then it went like this. It went downhill fast. And look at the Raiders. What a disaster. The Arnett kid got arrested again this weekend. Kansas City had to let him go after the Dolphins let him go. I mean, Harbaugh was in the right place at the right time with the San Francisco 49ers. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. He wasn't this great quarterback. And if they want to draft him, they can go ahead and draft him, and they can make the mistake of a lifetime if that's what they want to do. And that's what it will be. And in the end, what you at least what you have now on defense would also end up getting ruined. Okay? That's what would end up happening. Because right now, at least, you've got something going on defense. And what you need to do is fix the offense. And I just don't think that he would be the guy. All right. 2011 to 2014. Are you ready? Alden Smith, Colin Kaepernick, Kendall Hunter, Daniel Kilgore. Let's see. Where are we at here? Jimmy Ward. Wow, he still made a big mistake yesterday. Carlos Hyde. Let's see. Eric Reed, Vance McDonald, Marcus Lattimore. Lattimore wasn't a good pick, actually. Lattimore was a bad pick. Remember, he had the knee injury. AJ Jenkins. They were on a roll. Ayupati. They were on a roll that was like unheard of back in those days. They had players that were just absolutely nasty on that team. And that's why when you look at those San Francisco teams, right? Patton was in. I remember they tried to get Patton, and Patton was really good in college. Started off well, did not turn out to be a good player. I'm picking some of the other guys. Navarro Bowman obviously was nasty. I mean, they had guys that Ricky Jean Francois. They had guys that really developed into depth starters. Crabtree. They had guys that just were nasty, and the Crabtree thing was. I mean, you're talking about guys that depth starters. They had everything that you needed for Kaepernick to kind of just glide through the playoffs and do enough. Their running game was absolutely nasty. Their offensive line was nasty. Anthony Davis. They had guys on that team. Look, let me go through the roster so I can show you, because it was just one of those things that they were blessed. They did a combination in free agency and in the draft that were just absolutely awesome. And those teams were loaded. And the sad part was that they did not end up winning a title in those days. That was the real sad part of it. All right, let me see let's go to 13. Let me go to 2013. Crabtree was a good player without him. Okay, so in 2013, listen to this team. Crabtree, Anquan Bolden, Joe Staley, Mike Ayupati, Jonathan Goodwin, Alex Boone, Anthony Davis, Vernon Davis. Their running backs were Frank Gore, Kendall Hunter. Yeah, LaMichael James was nice as a 3-back, actually, not bad. Anthony Dixon also. Defense. Justin Smith was just an absolute monster. Ahmad Brooks, Navarro Bowman, Patrick Willis, Alden Smith, Carlos Rogers, Dante Whitner, Eric Reed. I mean, it's just you want me to read again? Ray McDonald, Justin Smith, Ahmad Brooks, Navarro Bowman, Patrick Willis, Alden Smith, Carlos Rogers, Dante Whitner, Eric Reed. Are you kidding me? Tank Carradine was a backup. Glenn Dorsey was a backup. Corey Latimer was a backup. I mean, it's just they even, like I told you, they even had depth. That's crazy. Now watch. I'll go to 2000 and let's go 12. Let's see what you had in 2012. Crabtree and Mario Manningham, Joe Staley, Ayupati, Jonathan Goodwin, Boone. This is with Alex Smith. Frank Gore, Brandon Jacobs was the backup to Frank Gore. Ray McDonald, Isaac Sopoga, Justin Smith. Man, Justin Smith was just a beast. The defense was basically the same, except Deshaun Goldson was the free safety that year. I mean, loaded. Those San Francisco teams were some of the best teams in the last 20 years. Ask Niners fans. Niners fans will tell you that those teams, they probably have, it's like the Jet fans with those 2 years that they went to the AFC Championship game, but they had the wrong quarterback to get them over the top. But those teams were good enough. They had the defense, they had the running game, and they had the offensive line. That's all. To me, if you get a solid quarterback and you got a defense, an offensive line, and a running game, you can win a title. Almost all the time. You just need the quarterback to make just enough plays. He doesn't even have to be a superstar. When you've got a defense, an offensive line, and a running game, you make life for a quarterback incredibly easy. So, what else do we have here going on in the world of sports? So for me, I'm just not a Harbaugh believer. I think there's a lot of talk, and I think he's better suited for kids. And even in college, I have not been impressed with him because it's not like he had the best quarterback in college football for a long time in Andrew Luck, but he didn't win a national title. And he hasn't won a national title in Michigan. What's so special about him? I don't understand any kind of love affair whatsoever with Jim Harbaugh. None. So if somehow or another this crazy ass rumor, becomes true, I just have a hard time believing that this is something that's going to actually work when it's all said and done. So I am not a Harbaugh guy. Okay. So let's see what else do we have here. Real Deal says Caldwell is good, but not on Harbaugh's level. Really? Caldwell has a Super Bowl as an offensive coordinator, bailing out the Ravens in week 11. They hired him. He made Joe Flacco go 11 touchdowns and no interceptions. Joe Flacco. What has Jim Harbaugh done? I'm not even going to tell you Harbaugh winning the title with Tony Dungy as the offensive coordinator and then going 15-1, I think, or 13-3 or 14-2 or whatever the hell he went with Peyton Manning after. I don't care about that. I'm just wondering what's Harbaugh done in the NFL over Jim Caldwell? Like that's a stupid ass statement right there. I'm not sure. I just told you they underachieved in San Francisco. And this guy actually says he's better than Caldwell. And Caldwell has 2 titles in 2 different places. And one of them, he was practically a savior because the Baltimore defense was not that good. Ray Lewis was making tackles 5 yards downfield at that point. That wasn't Ray Lewis anymore. In that second go-around, Ray Lewis and the defense rode the coattails of Joe Flacco. Let me repeat that again. In the Ravens' second title, Ray Lewis and his white suit rode the coattails of Joe Flacco and Jim Caldwell. I'm not sure, but I haven't seen Jim Harbaugh lead anyone to a title at all. Not sure how your math works, my man, but Jim Caldwell has 3 winning seasons in Detroit and 2 playoff trips as a head coach. That's more impressive than anything he did in San Francisco. No one does that in Detroit. Not sure. Caldwell's not a better coach than Jim Harbaugh. Give me a break. Wow. You guys are, some of you are as clueless as you get. Yeah. Bieniemy does not call the offensive plays. That's what. No, he does call the offensive plays, Barney. Yes, he does. He calls the offensive plays. The problem is, Barney, you listen to people like on Facebook and you don't have your facts. Bieniemy calls the plays. He's the offensive coordinator. Okay? You're wrong. All right, since you don't like Harbaugh, we know we are not getting Jim Caldwell, there isn't anybody. There are no home runs out there. Understand that. This year, no one was a home run. No one hired. Not Dable, not Caldwell, not Harbaugh, not McDaniel, not anyone that was hired. There's no coach out there. Everybody's got some warts. Everybody's got some questions, and it's just what you like. Some of you like McDaniel. Some of you like Dable. Some of you like Harbaugh. Some of you like Caldwell. Some of you like Peterson. Whatever. There are no home runs out there. There are no coaches that are being looked at and like everybody's got to have one. Okay? And while I know that the Dolphins wanted Dable, right? They probably did. It seems like they're comfortable with several options on offense. Because if Dable's going to sign, and I think also Dable wanted to work with the GM that went to the Giants because they were both in Buffalo. So they have a working relationship already. And who knows, they may have been talking about this for a while. Come on, man. Who are we kidding here? So I think, and let me explain to you what I think is happening. Could be wrong. They've said, or they haven't said, but the reports are that they want to keep their staff together, their defensive staff together, right? So if they want to keep their defensive staff together, ladies and gentlemen, then what this tells me is that they want to fix, and this makes while I normally don't like the human Jenga stuff, which is what they've played for many years, in this case, I understand the method behind the madness. They've drafted it up. The defense is successful. They can play that defense. They got to better it still a little bit against the run for sure. But the defense is headed in the right direction, right? So they figure we keep the defensive staff. Hell, the coach wasn't talking to the defensive staff from Thanksgiving on. So the front office got like a couple of months to watch the defensive staff run the defense. So they felt that they were happy enough with what they did, since the idiot wasn't talking to his own staff after Thanksgiving. Notice how they were winning games after that too, by the way. Anyway, so they go through this stretch, right? And now they finish the year and they say, well, wait a minute, hold on. All right, we have continuity and we have some chemistry on defense already. Let's keep our defensive staff. Let's keep the continuity and the chemistry on defense. The offense has no continuity. It has no chemistry. It has nothing. So you're not destroying anything when you add it. You're hoping to actually improve the crap that you've had there already on offense. You've had no coaches. You've had nothing, right? So it makes a lot of sense. So they figure if they could get a Dable, if they could get a McDaniel, if they can get somebody on the offensive side of the ball, and I'm sure that they're looking at the kind of person that they can work with. So a guy like Reggie McKenzie and Marvin Allen and Chris Greer will then help them build a staff. Because what have we run into, ladies and gentlemen? When you hire the young coaches, whether it's Flo or the untested coaches that haven't been anywhere like a Joe Philbin, what do they struggle with, ladies and gentlemen? They struggle with what? Building a staff. Right? So if you have a competent defensive staff in place and you like what Josh is doing and you like what Gerald is doing, and you like what some of these guys are doing, then wait a minute. Let's keep our defensive staff together. Let's keep the continuity together. Let's just go find a guy that can fix the offense. So I think that's the method behind the madness, because if you bring in a brand new coach that brings in a whole new staff, guess what ends up happening? Now you set the defense back. So, yeah, you've got to fix the offense, and the offense was a mess anyways. So whatever you're doing on offense, the reconstruction, it needed to be done anyway. But on defense, if you start reconstructing the defense and start saying, well, we want to play this style, and now you've got to change the players, and you need bigger linebackers or smaller linebackers or bigger defensive ends or smaller defensive ends or quicker this or whatever. So all of a sudden now you're getting the opposite of what you need. Well, our safeties aren't going to, our what's it called? Our run safety or strong safety isn't going to need to cover as much. He's going to be more in the box, this and that. So everything changes. You don't want to do that. That's why I don't think they're going to go in the direction of a Jim Harbaugh, who would absolutely change everything up. And he would change his whole staff and it would just be a mess. And then it would set everything back. So I think what they're trying to do is they want to get somebody to fix the offense. And the defense is already good. So it kind of, if you're a young coach, you're like, well, wait a minute, I'm inheriting a good defense. Now I don't have that. That's the pressure is off of me. I don't have to find a defense. I don't have to find a defensive coordinator. I've got a pretty good one. They're hiring me to fix the offense and the quarterback. Okay, I can do that. That's my comfort zone. I think that's what they're thinking of. And I think that's why they're going in the direction of an offensive mind and not necessarily in a complete rebuild. And I have to say, it kind of makes sense. I mean, those of you out there, right? Patience is a problem for Dolphin fans. We don't have any patience anymore. You tell us a rebuild and we're like, oh my God, I don't want another rebuild. I'm so tired of rebuilds. We've been rebuilding for 30 years, right? That's what we say, right? So they don't want to rebuild either. So they want to kind of, let's say they just want to redesign the offense. They don't want to rebuild the entire team. And really, that's what they need. They need somebody to come in and fix the offense. The defense just needs maybe another piece or two, maybe in the middle. We get a little more, middle linebacker or something like that. You all know what we need. They don't need a ton on defense. They need more experience and all those kind of things. But it's a tweak here, tweak there. But on offense, that's needed badly. You need an offensive line coach. You need an offensive coordinator. You need a real quarterbacks coach. You need people that will understand what you've got to do on that side of the ball. So that's why, to me, this whole Dable, McDaniel, and God, the third guy, I'm just, Kellen Moore just does nothing for me. I'm sorry. That's one that I cannot, you can't get me on board with Kellen Moore. The McDaniel guy can, I get it, whatever. I accept it, and he doesn't have to build the defense. So hopefully he can figure things out. But it's just one of those things that there isn't that coach that, wow, no coach this year. Caldwell was the only guy that I really, really like, because I think he's pretty much the closest to a complete coach. And maybe he wants his own defensive staff. Maybe that's why he's not even being considered here. Or maybe it's his age, because nobody's considering Caldwell. He got a token interview just like Peterson. Nobody cares about Peterson either. Nobody's asking for Peterson. He got an interview. It was token. I know when you see a guy like that get an interview, that's an agent pulling a favor with the general manager. When you know it's legit, it's when they're bouncing around all over and everybody wants them. But you see that there's 7, 8, 9 teams that need teams, and they only get to visit one, maybe two. Those are all favors for agents. Okay? I've been in the business a long time. Trust me, that's what it is. It's not because they had any kind of interest in them, because notice how they never became finalists. Even in the token interview, they weren't even a finalist. That's all you need to know. Okay? So nobody's interested in Caldwell, and it's got to be the age thing. Yeah, maybe it is also because you're not going to have him for a long time. So you've got to hire him, and he's got to hire also a successor in place. So you've got to worry about it. And I forgot who it was last week that made a really good point that those coaches were hired when they were younger, like the Belichicks and the Pete Carrolls, and they got old in their tenures. So it's different. They weren't necessarily hired in their late 60s, and you don't do a lot of that. So maybe that's why, the Caldwell ship has kind of sailed on him a little bit because of age. Not fair, but it's the truth. Justin Shelb, thank you, sir. He says a little love on the super chat. He says anybody but McDaniel. I don't Joe Philbin 2.0 offensive genius that doesn't call plays. Like I told you, this is what you're going to end up with. Now maybe McDaniel hires a guy that calls plays. Maybe that's part of the agreement. Okay, maybe he hires a veteran coach that helps him with all of this. Maybe that's part of the agreement. You gotta wait and see how it develops. But like I told you, there are no slam dunks at all this year. Roger Suarez, thank you for some love on the Cash App. Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. We get 100% of the donation. Thank you. He says, forget your khakis, ready for Dockers, not Dickies. Thank you, Roger. Appreciate you, my man. That is very nice of you. And then he also says, for hire a gym, don't want to be a booger sugar bender. Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate you on the Cash App. Remember, Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. You guys can make the donation. On Venmo, let me see here. Nope, nothing on Venmo. I thought I saw a putty cat, but I was wrong. But thank you, Roger. Appreciate you, my man. Very nice of you. Let's see. Is Fuad Reves available? The Fuad Squad. Yeah, baby. AH360, thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, so we are telling potential coaches that they got to keep the defense and keep two as a franchise QB, sort of hamstrings the new coach, isn't it? AH360, I ask you again, what coaches out there you got to bend over backwards? There's no coach out there available that says, you got to give me personnel control. There's no coach out there that has earned the right to say, nah, I'm bringing my own staff. There's no coach out there that's proven that they can do it. None. And you guys can say Harbaugh all you want. He's also proven that he can fail. So I'm not. There's no coach out there that a Nick Saban can demand whatever the hell he wants. A Jimmy Johnson can demand whatever the hell he wants. A Bill Parcells can demand whatever the hell he wants. You see what I'm saying? If you're able to steal Mike Tomlin from Pittsburgh, he can demand whatever the hell he wants. Mike McDaniel can't do that. Brian Daboll can't do that. You can't have it both ways. What have I told you guys? I'm pretty damn consistent on this. What was the mistakes they made with Philbin and with Flo? With Gase and Flo? They gave him too much power. I'm sorry, dude. The candidates that are available are not the candidates that you bend over backwards for and say, oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. What do you want? You want, oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No. So what's best for these young candidates that have never built a staff, have never accomplished anything? Give them a defense that's set and a defensive staff. So now all you've got to do, young man, is build the offense. So really, AH360, in this case, it's not a bad thing. Okay? Now, if you're telling me there's an awesome coach out there in the waiting that is a surefire stud, and you're telling him what he can and cannot have, I'm with you on that. But who the hell is Mike McDaniel or Brian Daboll to be controlling anything? No, dude, we don't know if you can build a staff. But guess what? We have a defensive staff in place, and it works. We like what we're doing with our defensive staff. Okay? We want you to worry about the offense. Oh, that's not good enough for you? See you later. No problem. We'll figure it out. You're not losing Shula 2.0, dude. So I don't have a problem with it at this moment. Devin Jordan, thank you for the love on the super chat. Big O, what do you think about Mahomes choking yesterday? Bad game. I'm not going with choke, dude. He's Pat Mahomes. He's a stud. You got a bad day. You got a bad day. It is what it is, Devin. You move on. That's it. So when Marino threw an interception or whatever, he choked. No, dude, that's not the way I look at it. Mahomes is a freaking stud, and I'll take that choker every day of the week and twice on Sundays on my team. That's very Janet Jackson of you. What have you done for me lately? Samuel Loomis, thank you for the love on the super chat. Rumor is McDaniel would bring in Joe Brady as OC. You see what I'm saying? I don't know about the rumor or whatever, Samuel, but if you bring in a play caller and he helps design with the play caller and he gets to handle the personalities and he delegates, then Mike has a chance. He walks in, he's got a defense in place. He can get Joe Brady, boom, that's it. I like it. If that's the case, I like it even more. Gilbert Martinez, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. Very kind of you. Thank you. Pat in Asheville says, by the way, wait a minute, Pat. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. Pat in Asheville, 6:35 tonight. Apparently I'm going to be on with Brian and Mike Morgan. Okay. Just so you'll know. 6:35 tonight. I'll be on an Asheville sports station. There you go. Okay. How about them apples? Pat in Asheville. I'll be in your town, in your airwaves at 6:35 tonight. Don't know the station, but there you go. I gave you the hosts because they reached out to me. Pat, he says, and thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, consider that Harbaugh is using the discussion to get a pay raise by Michigan. Coaches do this all the time. If they are in discussions with Miami, then he may be serious. I don't think he's in discussions at all with Miami. I don't. So we'll see. He might be in discussions with somebody else, but Minnesota or something, but not Miami. Big O, you said no credible sources reported the Dolphin interest in Harbaugh. Armando Salguero reported at 11:57 a.m. yesterday. Is he credible? He did. He reported it, or is it a report, or did he actually was repeating something of another report? Huh? That's the question. Let's see. Where is it at here? I don't see it here. Nope. Now I'm going to go to tweets and replies, and I bet it's there because he retweeted the guy's tweet just to mess around and have some fun with it. Let's see. No, I don't see it here, bro.
There you go.
Yes. Where is it at?
On the tweet that he sent out, it says, had plugged in former Dolphins employee who retains connections to the team tell me last night he expects Steve Ross will do what he can to hire Jim Harbaugh if the Michigan coach is indeed considering leaving Michigan for NFL. We'll see.
Right, but he's not reporting it. He says it's a former employee. Right, exactly. See, that's the problem with this is why I don't listen to most of you out there, because you don't pay attention. You don't listen. You don't listen. You don't hear what a host says. You don't actually, like some idiot yesterday says, hey, you're praising Neil Young on Joe Rogan. I go, I wasn't praising, dude. I just retweeted it, you idiot. You know, and he's like defending Joe Rogan. I'm like, yo, dude, whatever. It's Spotify losing $2 billion, not me, bro. And as much as I was saying last week, I think Neil Young's music's going to go off. They're going to keep Rogan because they're going to sell out for the money. And sure enough, they are. But I wasn't defending Neil Young, but the guy took it as I was defending Neil Young just because I retweeted the story of Neil Young's, protest is costing them $2 billion in stocks. So all of a sudden I'm praising Neil Young when I wasn't even praising Neil Young. So I called him Trump Jr. because, of course, that's the Trump move that you deflect, and all that. But that's all good. You can't stay on subject, so you got to deflect in order to get it in there. You know what I'm saying? So, Dana, I appreciate it, but this is why I don't listen to you. Because you're typical of the American. You don't pay attention. You just read the headline, but you really don't read the article. And the headline, a lot of times, is not what the article's about. But you'll go off the headline, and then you'll take that as the fact. But you didn't read the story. Okay? Karen says, Big O, some random guy with a checkbox next to his Twitter name first said Harbaugh wants to go to Miami, shaking my head, then took it off from there. Whatever, dude. I mean, it's just, But Dana is a perfect example of what happens all the time. You don't pay attention. That's all. Big O has a bad case of TDS. What's TDS? Just tell me what I got a bad case of. You don't have to put the abbreviations. Douglas says, no matter who the coach is, if we stay with Tua, then our best way to improve this team is 1 or 2 top offensive tackles in free agency, wide receiver, running back in the first 2 rounds of the draft, and another wide receiver or linebacker in the third. There you go. Living rent-free in his head. Wow. Is that what TDS means? That TDS, living rent-free in his head? TD. I don't know. That doesn't jive. I don't know about that. That doesn't jive. Dougie Fresh says, oh, so I'm canceling your and Sean's rides on the tilt-a-wheel for the Senior Bowl. Yes. 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 Next year, we will be at the Senior Bowl. Next year, we will have all of our finances in place and everything. We're getting all of that in place right now. So, unfortunately, I can't do it this year. But you know what? I got to be honest. Maybe if I forced it, we could be at the Senior Bowl, but I'm not sure about access still this year. So I'm kind of holding back. You spend a lot of money and you don't get access. I'm not doing that, So, because it costs money. It's not cheap to go to all these things. I know I've been paying it for 20 years. So I definitely want access if I'm going. If I'm not getting access, then, Let's see. Lewis says, are you making a video with Douglas? Yes, I am. I am doing one with Doug this week. Had a terrible week last week, man. I mean, it's a good week because I was really busy, meetings every day. So, yeah. Let's see. Sports Fanatic says, Big O, how's it going, my man? I spoke to Sean a week ago about potentially having you on my show if possible. Yeah. Definitely. Anytime, man. 90 miles from Cuba says, top of the morning to you, Big O. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Let's see. Oh, TDS means Trump derangement syndrome. No, I just like to. Well, no, I do. Actually, I do. Yes, I like to expose you Trumpies. Yes, yes, yes. Because you guys are really you men and women are really easy to spot. So yeah, I do have it. You are correct, sir. Definitely. Oh, it's fun exposing you losers. Samuel Loomis says, did you, and thank you for the love on the super chat. Did you see Life is Good in the Pegasus World Cup? Destroyed the field. He will be in Saratoga this summer. Speaking of which, you are coming this summer to Spa Case Closed. Get it on, Sean. Or get on it, Sean. So apparently we got to go to Saratoga this summer, Sean. I wonder if the Saratoga people will host us so we can do a show out there. You know what I mean? That would be cool. Because Biden is doing see, that's the problem with you, Mike. Your dumbass thinks that I actually like Biden. I'm not stupid enough to like Biden or Trump. How do you like them apples? Now, where do you stand now, Mikey? Oh, where are you now? Oh, my God. I can't hurt him. He's not a Democrat. He's not a Republican. Oh, my God. He makes fun of both. Where do I stand now? There you go, Mikey. Sorry, bro. I'm not a party zombie, bro. I think for myself. I know Trump and Bernie and Hillary and Biden, and they're all clowns. But if any of you idiots want to follow all those morons, you can go ahead and do it, bro. Because you're party zombies. Oh my God. No matter who they put in front of me, he's a Democrat, he's a Republican, she's a Democrat, she's a Republican. I've got to vote for her. No, I'm a Republican. I've got to go Marjorie Taylor Greene. Of course. No, yes. Yeah. Matt Gaetz. Yeah. Yeah, Bernie Sanders. He'll bail you out. Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, our politics are fantastic. Yeah. Love how Democrats fight for their own and the Republicans like they actually have a case for either one. Bunch of morons on both sides. Jesus Christ. There you go. King Felix. Trump did a better job. Here you go, bro. Here's your better job. You're too stupid. Okay? You don't even belong on this chat board. Anybody that defends any of these people, you will get blocked. Go ahead. Defend Biden, defend Trump. Go ahead. Do it. I want to see it. I want to see it. Defend Sanders. Please. Defend Hillary. Show me your stupidity, and I'll block your ass right away. Go ahead. Go ahead, Democratic idiot. Go ahead, Republican moron. Go ahead. Dumbasses. You morons can't think for yourselves. That's why you follow, because you can't think for yourselves. You have no balls to go against your own parties. They give you crap. They flush you down the toilet every year, and you follow them like idiots. Just like what's going on with crypto. The big banks know they're going down, and they're doing anything to try to control it and stick FUD in your head. And meanwhile, those of us that are actually going to head down the right path, it is what it is. But you guys go ahead. You guys keep thinking that any of the politics we got going on are actually good ones. You keep thinking that. Carlos says, this is a sports blog. Let's talk. Hey, Carlos, here you go, buddy. Don't ever tell me what to do. Okay? Don't ever tell me what to do. Ever. Now you don't get to say anything on the show. How about that, Carlos? See ya. You can watch. Now you can't comment. Now you're going to have to open up another email, and if you say something else stupid, I'll block you again. How about that? You got it? Okay, good. Buy the dip. Damn right, Dolphin Don. Buy the damn dip. Ron Paul forever. Big O a menace today. Now, I'm not a menace. You want to get me to be a menace. That's what I'll be, a menace. All right. John Paulo says that's why you got fired from 560. I didn't get fired for that, dude. But you can create whatever you want, my brother. And last time I checked, we're doing way better than 560. Okay? We outdraw 560 and their entire station combined. Okay? So I don't know what you're watching, but I think we're doing a lot better than we were at 560. Not sure. You're probably not that smart to figure it out, but I can't help you, my brother. Tony says, I hope shit blows up so I can retire. I'm with you. Big O has no time for you. Exactly, bro. I don't need to put up with any crap, man. Just discard it. It's over. When is Omar Kelly coming on the show? Tomorrow. Poupar on at 11:30. Ira at noon. Marcel Louis-Jacques making his debut as an insider for us. He will be on twice a week, baby. All right. Do you want Jim Harbaugh to Miami? You can rewind and check that out. It's already there. Big O, you know you're doing something right when the haters still tune in and take time to comment. It's all good, bro. Let's see. You outdraw 560, but can't get your finances. Hey, by the way, 560 didn't pay for me to go to the Senior Bowl, you idiot. And now you don't even get to comment anymore. See, inaccuracy also gets you banned. You know, I paid my way at 560, bro. What's wrong with you? Ohio John says no interviews for Bieniemy. Any chance he knows he will be? You know, let's talk a little bit about this. Oh, you know what? Hour number 2. All right, let's do that first. Let's go to hour number 2 right here on the Big O Radio Show.
South Florida's premier law enforcement agency is now hiring individuals like you. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department is now accepting applications for non-certified and certified police officer positions. Minimum requirements and qualifications can be found at flpdjobs.com. That's flpdjobs.com. Are you ready? The city of Fort Lauderdale is an equal opportunity employer. When you're ready to purchase a new home loan or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today. 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com. When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than a roof above the people you love. Call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411 and ask to speak to Tommy, the owner. They specialize in all kinds of roofs, led by their highly crafted, skilled, and professional roof mechanics. All of their previous customers have an opportunity to enter their bi-weekly drawings to receive free an exterior impact metal door. Please call for more details. That's Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411. Trust Tommy to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family. The Big O Radio Show is looking for an experienced salesperson in the radio or TV business. The candidate must have at least 5 years of sales experience in the broadcast business over the last 10 years. Please email your phone number and resume to bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. That's bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Looking for an aggressive person who can help our platform expand into many avenues in our business. Reach out if you are the person that's able to make a difference. The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
The Big O Radio Show is brought to you by Caneswear. Go to Caneswear.com, where all orders over $99 get free shipping. Sloman's Total Home Security. Protect your home with the best in the business. 1-800-ALARM-ME for the company serving America for nearly 100 years. 1-800-ALARM-ME. Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com. Licensed roofing contractor. 100% financing is available. Go to Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com.
The Big O Radio Show originates from the OK Coin Studios. Invest a little time and save big. Just set the recurring buy and pay, 0 transaction fee after your first purchase. The Big O Radio Show is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley from the OK Coin Studios. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right, hour number 2 of the program, and good subject that somebody brought up on Bieniemy. Not getting the look there, Ohio John. Thank you for that one. He put no interviews for Bieniemy. Any chance he knows he will be a successor for Reed? Ohio John is asking. Here's what I got to ask. Is he a crappy interviewer? Is he a guy that they don't believe he can be a leader, like a head coach or something? Do they think he's just an assistant? It's weird, right? I don't know what's going on with it. And here's where I spin, and I don't know if he knows he's going to be the successor, because who knows when Reed is going to step down. But here's the thing. Here's where let me go back to something else now, because I was dead wrong on this. But I'm wondering why. Okay. Ken Dorsey. I told you last week, there's no way Ken Dorsey would come with Dable to Miami. Doesn't make any sense. Why would you leave Buffalo? you've got the quarterback in place. You've got a team and an offense. Remember, I told you, there's no way that Dorsey would be a moron. And guess what? He's a moron. But then I started thinking about this, going, so this guy's going to leave Josh Allen to go to Daniel Jones. So now I'm thinking, does Ken Dorsey not have confidence in himself as an offensive coordinator? Does Ken Dorsey not have confidence in himself that he can be on his own? Did he not feel that if Daboll left, he really wasn't going to get the job there, or he wasn't comfortable there or something? It was weird, because you would figure anybody would want to be on their own. You know what I mean? When I got in this business, I don't want to be anybody's sidekick. I'm not here to be, that's not who I am. I wasn't going to be the third wheel on a show or anything like that kind of stuff. That wasn't my style. Okay? I wanted to have my own show. I wanted to lead my own talk show. I didn't want to be, no, that's not was my vision. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way I've always thought of myself. And that's the way I've always carried myself. And that's the way it's always been. And I've been a solo guy too, which is something that is also incredibly rare, okay, in sports. Now it's 2-3 people. Very few talk show hosts can actually do a show by themselves. So I'm figuring any man, right? If you're a salesperson, you want to be the assistant sales manager, and then you want to be the sales manager. You want to be the man, right? Or you want to be the woman, right? That's how it starts. You start as an assistant, and then you want to end up becoming the VP, and then you want to become the CEO, right? I mean, if you have aspirations to better yourself, and if you have leadership aspirations, you want to be put in that position. Correct? You don't want to be just the backup quarterback. You strive to be the starting quarterback. Okay? Maybe you might start as a intern, but eventually he or she wants to be the doctor. And then eventually you want to be, I don't know what the top doctor is called or whatever the hell it's called in a hospital, but and so on and so forth. In whatever it is, the aforementioned politics, right? You start as a councilman, and you want to be a senator, and you want to be a governor, and you want to be president, and your aspirations grow because you have leadership qualities in you. You feel that you can make a difference. Does Ken Dorsey have those leadership qualities? It's weird. It's odd that he would kind of go with the guy to make it safe. Did he not feel safe in Buffalo? Was he not going to get the automatic elevation? Did he need to do it for his friend or the guy that he's built a relationship with? It's kind of odd. It's weird. I just found it strange, man. Usually you want to detach from that umbilical cord and prove you're your own man. You go and you're still kind of Daboll's guy because it's still going to be Daboll's thing. Whereas Daboll leaves, it becomes your show in Buffalo. That was weird. And it's two different things, right? Bieniemy wants that chance. He wants to prove he's the guy. I look at Ken Dorsey and I was like, yeah, I'm not seeing the same cojones. It's weird. I don't know. I found it really, really odd, but dead wrong. Never thought he would leave. It would only make sense that you would stay. And he left. Wow. I was shocked. Got to admit, I was shocked. Daboll chose New York because he thought Daniel Jones can be fixed over Tua. Let's keep it real. That's fine. That's fine. I still think Tua is a much better passer. Let's see. Dougie Fresh says, breaking, Joe Rogan effed with the wrong one as Yoko Ono is putting her music on Spotify. Any subscriber listening to Yoko singing is like a chupacabra caught in a bear trap with cancel Spotify. Man, their stock has gone down. They're down like 45%. Joni Mitchell has requested to take her music off. David Crosby wants to take it off, but he sold his catalog. I want to pull my music. Oh, wait a minute. I don't own my music anymore. There's a report that the Foo Fighters, see, that's when it starts to get interesting. It hasn't happened yet, but there's a report that the Foo Fighters wanted to pull their music off. See, that's the thing. If it starts to get to a point where it's, Taylor Swift and Katy Perry and Gaga and Adele and oh boy, then it becomes a real problem for Spotify. Now Spotify, by the way, did come out with a release that says, based on the feedback over the last several weeks, it's become clear that we have an obligation to do more to provide balance and access to widely accepted information from the medical and scientific communities guiding us through this unprecedented time. These issues are incredibly complex. We've heard you, especially those from the medical and scientific communities, and we're taking the following steps. And they're going to try to change their ways and put some tags on things and all that, whatever. What a crap show, dude. Neil Young, which I thought it was going to be like, okay, we're going to take the old man's music off and everybody would forget about it and move on. But wow, dude. Like then all of a sudden the other artists started talking. I didn't think it would become this, but wow, crazy. Spotify found themselves in some serious heat. Yeah, Spotify stock is up 12%. It went down 45%, dude. It's called buy the dip. What have we been teaching you for a while here? So, of course, they bought the dip. The entire market is having its worst month since March of. Yeah. It's bad all over the place. It's bad all over the place. It is what it is. We're waiting for the feds. Next month they're going to talk. Well, we're still on the 31st, so in March, in 2 months, they're talking about possibly raising the rates, and then the supply shortage is hurting everything. And so until we could get all that stuff freed up, then I think we could get. And the good thing is Biden stopped printing money and giving it away. So now people have to go back to work now, because we had a lot of people have been like hanging out. So I think the economy will get a little bit, it supposedly had some good numbers come up, but I think people will now get back to work after they stop giving away all that money. Litecoin will hit 300 soon. I love how you call him Noodle Arm. Go look at his 2020 and 2021 highlights. Who's Noodle Arm? Let's see. Joe Rogan did a comedy show Saturday night and walked off to keep on rocking in the freeway. He said he was a Neil Young fan. Big O, can you stake an OK coin? Hell yeah, you can stake an OK coin. Yeah, dude. And speaking of that, by the way, of OK coin, just to give you a little OK coin crypto corner right now, and let me give you a little. You can stake Polygon at 15.49%, Polkadot, which I got plenty staked, at 12.85%, Cosmos 11.2%, Stacks 10%, Tron 8.1%, Cardano's up 8%, dude. It was at 6%. It was at 585 last week. It's up to 8% right now. You can stake Cardano. And Cardano, let me tell you, Cardano is at a great price right now. Where's Cardano at? Let me pull it up here. Here's Cardano. $1.04 right now, which is a steal and a half for Cardano. Avalanche 6.67%. Avalanche is great. It's at a great price right now. Solana, 5.3%. Tether, 5.3 if you want to stake a little stable coin. Algorand, 3.5%. So you've got a lot of coins there that you can stake at different percentages and make a little money there on OKCoin. So yes, sir, you can. And use my link below, and we can share $20 in Bitcoin. Okay, so you'll get a little free Bitcoin right now. So take advantage of that. Okay, and again, we have been holding. It's hanging around 37 to 38. It's closer to 38 right now. We don't know where we're going to go in the next couple of days. I am still rooting for a little bit of a dip to 33 to 30. That some people think there might be a chance, but it might shoot up now because it's been on a last 7 days, 8 days. It's been on an upward trajectory right now, Bitcoin. Once it starts going, altcoins are going to explode also. So be prepared. And it's about to happen. The exchanges are running out of Bitcoin, including OKCoin. Not that they're like close to empty, but what I'm saying is the reserves are as low as they've been in a long, long time. Bitcoin is oversold in a big time way. We are about to have a breakout and it's going to explode. But we still may have a little bit more volatility left. And, in a twisted way. Look, man, personally, for me, I've been in crypto a little over a year now. So for me, I just kind of, it's almost been more of an accumulation year for me than anything else, the way I'm looking at it. And I did a lot in altcoins because you're going to make a lot more money in a shorter amount of time with altcoins over Bitcoin. Now, with Bitcoin dropping the way it has, it's kind of the prices from last year, which allows me to kind of catch up a little bit on Bitcoin. So I've been doing that, and that's what I think it is. Right now, it's a great buying opportunity for VeChain, for Cardano, for Bitcoin, for Ethereum. All of these, Polkadot, man, is at $17, $18. You can stake it, like I told you right now, at 12, almost 13%. It's ridiculous. So take advantage. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy that loves crypto, but I know where we're going. Arizona, Texas, they're already coming up. They want to come up with ways to accept Bitcoin and pay your taxes and state payments through Bitcoin. This is where we're going. Eventually, it's going to happen. So that's why I'm telling you, take advantage. And right now, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. That is your OKCoin Crypto Corner. All right. Devin Jordan says, thank you for the love on the super chat, by the way, Devin. Big O, what's the backstory on this whole Spotify crap? Are they forced to drop Joe Rogan's show if they continue to lose more stock? They paid him $100 million, but they paid him $100 million. They've lost $2 billion. Not good math. It all depends, Devin. It all depends. Like I told you, if the artists get bigger, Neil Young does not move the needle enough. Joni Mitchell does not move the needle enough. Those are older artists. If Kendrick Lamar starts to say something, holy crap. Okay? If Drake starts to say something, if, Adele, if they start to pull their music, then that's when Spotify will come to their knees and they'll have to do something about it. But if I still think they'll get through this. And by the way, I forgot who it was that sent in the thing of the stock. Whoever bought it on the dip was really, really smart. Really, really smart. Because it's only going to go back up again. I don't think this is going to bring down Spotify. I really don't. I don't believe it will. But you never know, man. I didn't think it would get this ugly after the old man said, take my music off. I bought AMP a while ago, still holding on to it. It's just a slow grower, AMP, man. I just think that with your money, you can do so much better than AMP. Like Polygon. Think about it. You buy Polygon, it's already gone up, and it's going to go up even more, and you can stake it for nearly 13%. So when it trades sideways, you're still making 13%. So There's so many things you can do with that money better than AMP in my eyes, but that's, we're all different, boss. So good luck to you, my brother. Good luck. Latanya Brooks, thank you for the love on the super chat. Thank you, Latanya. Very nice of you. Metaverse is tangible. Metaverse is the money maker. And right now, by the way, Star Atlas on OKCoin has been an absolute steal. So Star Atlas has been under 5 cents for the last couple of days, and it's at 5.5 right now, folks. And I'm telling you, that is one that if you get a chance to buy, go ahead and buy, man. Star Atlas is one that I think is well worth it to invest in. It's going to explode. Let's see. Big O, did you block me just because you disagree with me? You need to watch your anger, learn how to control yourself. No, Felix, if I blocked you, it's because you're an idiot. That's all. It's pretty simple. Don't try to, oh my God, he disagreed. No. It's usually because you're an idiot. Okay? Let's get that straight, Felix. So if you say stupid things or ignorant things or things that are completely inaccurate, yeah, exactly. You will get blocked. So let's not leave any gray area. Okay? Night and day, black and white, nothing in the middle. Okay? You get blocked normally because you're an idiot. Nothing more, nothing less. That's all. Plenty of people disagree. Okay? All I got to do is go up and down. Let me see. I'll find somebody in a second that disagrees with me all the time. Where's let me see. Where's my boy that always shows up early? What's his name? Jensen or whatever. He's always on here. Never agrees with me. Ever. Hates Tua. Bunch of you hate Tua. I don't know. I don't block you guys. Sports media doesn't like Tua. I don't block him, but he's not an idiot. He just says he doesn't like Tua. He doesn't think he can play. Whatever. Fine. Nothing wrong with that. I have no problem with you disagreeing. But when you think you're going to be Mr. Tough Guy and you're going to be Mr. Jerk and all that, then yeah, we'll block your ass. That's all. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not like we need you, okay? And it's not like you need us, right? I mean, if you're just going to be a troll, who the hell needs a troll on here? Nobody. Let's see. Do you have guests on your show so you can yell on top of them? Yes, we do. We have plenty of them coming up. And we'll yell on top of them too, and you and everybody else. Big O, I feel McDaniel is going to be the next head coach because of Miami keeping the defensive staff. That's what I've been saying, that I think they're looking for an offensive mind to balance what they have already on defense. Okay? So there you go. Mike Monahan says, if we can disagree in an agreeable way, it all works. That's fine. We can agree or disagree. But trolls will be eliminated. Idiots will be eliminated. So there you go. Man, I was wrong about Albert Wilson when the season started. Karen, guess what? We're all wrong about a bunch of things every year. Okay? So don't beat yourself up, Karen. We're all wrong about a whole bunch of things every year. I'm a Herbert guy from day one, even if I say Tua needs a fair chance with a good line and coach. James says, hey, any idea if the Finns have a timeline to decide on a head coach? So tired of all the speculation, no facts. They're clearly not in a hurry. And I would imagine that things are going to get done this week, because if they don't, then what? The person they're looking for is part of the Super Bowl? What do you got, Sean?
No, I think we missed a super chat. DJ Gallagher, did you get that one? You had scrolled back up, and I think when you went back down, you may have missed the super chat. Let me know if I got it right here. So if you're ready, you want to read it.
Yeah, I guess I missed it because I don't have it here. Oh, here it is. Can we, for a short moment of silence for the passing of the great Johnny Fever, being in radio so long, was WKRP close to real? Well, I don't work on the FM side. I work on the AM side of radio, but I've worked along the FM sides, whether it's been, country or pop or whatever, or rock. I've worked alongside of it. And there are some things that are kind of real about it. Yeah, I would say. Yeah. But there's no doubt. Johnny Fever, DJ Gallagher is right. One of the greatest DJs of all time. So let's have a moment of silence for Dr. Fever, okay? A moment of silence, folks. And now we head to another great DJ, Alan Poupart, and our Sports Grill Miami Dolphins report.
Let's get ready to talk Dolphins football. It's the Sports Grill Miami Dolphins report with Sports Illustrated's Alan Poupart. With locations throughout South Florida, Sports Grill is the home of the special grilled wings. Check out our sponsored locations in Miami on Bird Road and 114th and in Miami Lakes in the Royal Oaks Plaza. Here's Miami Dolphins insider Alan Poupart.
Is the man, the myth, the legend that is Alan Poupart. He is ready to rock. He's ready to roll. All right. So, how do you look at this whole coaching thing? Dable goes off. Now we have the McDaniel and
Kellen Moore
thing now happening this week. I'm not believing anything on the Harbaugh stuff, but you tell me, what are you hearing?
I wouldn't dismiss it. For a millisecond, I wouldn't dismiss it, because the people I've spoken to who would be in a position to know, it's unanimous. Jim Harbaugh wants to go back to the NFL. That's his desire. There's word he reached out or he spoke with the Vikings. And if you're going to tell me that it's not possible, that Stephen Ross is going to tell him, listen, you've already made it clear you want to go back to the NFL. So my statement about not being the one to take you away from Michigan still applies, because Jim Harbaugh is the one who took himself away from the University of Michigan, if you want to play with semantics. So I absolutely, not for 1 millisecond, would dismiss that possibility to me. And I'm not seeing Kellen Moore, and not just because Jerry Jones told a Dallas radio station that he was expecting Kellen Moore to be back. But I kind of get the feeling between Moore and McDaniel's the flavor of the month. To me, I think at this point, it would be McDaniel or Jim Harbaugh.
I think it's McDaniel now, because the report of keeping the defensive staff, that's kind of, because if you bring Harbaugh in, he's going to take over everything. He's going to want power. He's going to control the coaching, all of that. So there was no reason to keep your defensive staff, because you'll be lucky if he keeps one or two of those guys. He'll bring his own people when it's all said and done. I think they're looking for that offensive mind. I've never been a fan of the human Jenga that they've done for 20 years. But in this case, I kind of get it. You've built the defense. The coach wasn't talking to his staff from Thanksgiving on anyway. So the defensive staff actually got a chance to prove themselves on their own, basically, in a way. So they figured.
Sure about that?
Maybe.
I think that's, to me, it's like, not that I know this for a fact, but I would probably say with 90% confidence that defense is Brian Flores' defense pretty much the entire way. And so that, how good is that staff going to be, and what kind of results are we going to get if Flores is no longer in the picture and you bring back everybody else, who, mind you, and nothing against any of those guys, are not exactly guys who came to the Dolphins with very long resumes in terms of NFL experience at their position.
Right.
They're pretty much all newbies. So unless you hit the jackpot with all of them, again, I think
I'm sure it'll be tweaked. To
me, it was the flow show on defense. So the idea that you're keeping the defensive stat and boom, you're going to have the same kind of success,
But you will have some kind of continuity is the point between them, because you will probably run pretty much the same kind of defensive scheme overall. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So you will have.
be-
So I think that's what they want to do. There was no continuity on offense, so you're not destroying anything there. So you try to rebuild that third of the team. I think that at least that's what it kind of looks like to me from the outside. If you're going to keep it, since you've already run into this problem with Philbin and with Flo, that they couldn't build staffs. So if you hire another young guy, it's going to be a problem for him to build a staff. So you just give him a defensive staff. And if you're hiring an offensive mind, it should be the easiest part for him to build is an offensive staff. So that's the method behind the madness. In the end, there isn't no home run hires out there anyway. They all have got some warts.
Correct. But if I may make a point here and then stick up for Joe Philbin a little bit, because you mentioned his inability to build a staff. Let's remember that the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, the Super Bowl participant Cincinnati Bengals, was coached under, and the defensive coordinator also.
10 years ago. 10 years ago, you would have to have.
You just mentioned that he had no ability to put together a staff. Obviously,
but at that time, we had no idea who they were. And by the way, it wasn't Zach. It was Sherman running it. It was his father-in-law running it. Zach wasn't doing jack crap.
But he hired him, and then he finished the 2015 as OC. I mean, I don't want to give Philbin more credit than he deserves, but let's also be fair. But I understand your overall point, and that's the big question when it comes to Jim Harbaugh. Going back to the original point, is that it's going to be a balance of just how badly Stephen Ross wants him, if he's going to go there, and how much is he willing to give up in terms of the structure he wants to get that done. Because I as you mentioned, I have a hard time seeing Jim Harbaugh saying, "Excuse me, okay, I will come on board with your parameters in place."
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. That's why I don't think, I think this is more. So far, nobody has reported it like, any real sources, it's just some guy reporting it out of Chicago that nobody really knows and is not really an insider. So there hasn't been any real mainstream insiders reporting this Harbaugh thing so far. So that's
except Big O, that it's well established by many, many different people that Harbaugh wants to go back to the NFL.
No, I get that.
It's public. Stephen Ross himself saying, "I love Jim Harbaugh," and he pursued him in 2011. It's very, very easy to connect the dots. And
that still doesn't make it even close to being accurate. Okay, all right. It's not. There's no accuracy there at all.
Big O, what's not accurate? The fact that Stephen Ross would like to have Jim Harbaugh.
It's a 5-year-old's game. Okay, that's not. It's not the facts. It's not like something that's out there. He's not interviewing. We don't know of any interview. Nothing's been reported. There's no connection. So there's really no substance to the story. It's just hearsay and connect the dots.
You're actually thinking that Stephen Ross and Jim Harbaugh, who are tied, have not spoken once about the Dolphin head coaching opening? Are you serious? You also think that Jim Harbaugh needs – hold on, let me finish. Do you honestly think Jim Harbaugh needs the same kind of official interview if he tells Stephen Ross, "I'm interested in the job," that Mike McDaniel would need, that Kellen Moore would need?
Yeah, I mean, you would have to sit down and see what the hell his idea is, don't you? You got to find out.
Again, you're assuming that they haven't talked, considering they're tied. I'm not buying. Excuse me. There doesn't need to be a story where it's going to be NFL Network reporting that Jim Harbaugh is officially interviewing with the Miami Dolphins. This is kind of a unique situation where I understand that's not out there, but to dismiss it out of hand because we haven't had one of the national guys say, our sources tell us that Jim Harbaugh is going to interview for the Dolphins.
We haven't had anybody
credible. Again,
it's one credible person has said anything.
Situation. It's a completely different situation. If you you can believe what you want. To me, I think if you're dismissing the idea of Jim Harbaugh possibly becoming head coach of the Dolphins because there hasn't been one credible report of him interviewing for the Dolphins.
No, there hasn't been anything. Not interview, no connections, no nothing. There's nothing. Nothing.
Connection. What more connection do you want than the fact that Ross and Harbaugh are tight?
We have him interviewing in Minnesota. We have him
Right.
interviewing with Minnesota. We don't have any connection so
Correct.
far with Miami. So
Correct.
far.
Correct.
So the plan that they've got in place doesn't show to be Harbaugh at all. The way they're going about this with the defensive staff in place and everything else, they're telling us they're not going in the Harbaugh direction.
Well, they're leaking us. They're leaking us that's where they're going.
It's just
I'm going to maintain my position.
what's going to end up happening? This is the same shit as the Watson thing. Okay, Ross never wanted Watson. It was Flo that was pushing it all and pushing even the owner to go talk to him. While people were thinking that the owner and others were interested, it was only Flo that was interested in Watson.
Not true.
Okay.
No,
well,
not true. Ross was completely on board.
I disagree with that, and I don't believe that at all. If they would, if that's true, they will go after Watson now. If they don't go after Watson, then the owner was never, because it has nothing to do with the flow then.
Big O, are you going to
goes out of the picture?
Are you going to question? Are you going to question the idea that Ross is easily influenced by depending on who's telling him what at what moment?
Yes.
You're going to argue that?
Yeah. Flo was pushing people around to the point that he's the one that got them into the Watson thing. If they don't go for Watson in the offseason and he is cleared by free agency, it will prove that Ross was never interested. It was all Flo, my man.
It also
any of those reports that were out there were not right. It wasn't the owner. The owner was going for him, but pushed by Flo for it, not for anything else.
Okay, 2 points. Ross was very much on board. We can agree to disagree on that. Number two, it also could be if they don't go after Watson and he's cleared in the offseason, it also could be that somebody has convinced Ross now that stick with Tua. He's gonna pan out. You'll see how good he's gonna be. That's all.
I think he already did that by firing Flo. I don't know, but
that may have been part of it. But I think somebody got in his ear, and now that's the direction he's taken.
But wait a minute, you just said that you just told me. So you think that people get in Ross's ear and make him change his mind? And I said yes, and now you're saying that they're doing that.
Wait a second. No. Well, my point to you was, would you dispute that notion that people get in his ear and he's easily influenced?
Yes.
You agree with that, right? Okay.
Yes.
Good. We're on. Then we're
yes.
on. Don't worry.
Yes, he's been influenced, exactly, and he was trying to be influenced into Watson when he wasn't the Watson guy. So that's that. Again,
not
if
what I
he
was
gets
told.
cleared now in free agency, okay, and the Dolphins don't make a move, in my eyes, it proves that the story that the owner was interested was wrong, and he was never interested. He was being pushed by Flo because Flo was the guy that wanted it, because everybody else was on the Tua bandwagon and trying to build around Tua, fighting the one guy that wasn't building around Tua.
Okay. Well, again, we'll agree to disagree. And also, I don't think if they don't pursue Watson, if he's cleared, I don't think that necessarily means I know it doesn't mean that Ross was never on board with Watson, because he was. To me, it would mean more that he's been convinced that they should move forward with Tua, which I also think if they have an opportunity to explore something for Watson, they'd be crazy not to.
All right, so where does this go? When does this finish? Do you think it's done this week finally?
I mean, Jesus. No, I absolutely got to be done this week. I'm actually even a little bit surprised that it lasted so long. Senior Bowls this week. At this point, it's going to be mostly just. I can't imagine even whoever they hire might not even go down there. It might be just the scouts. But the McDaniel and Kellen Moore interviews, I believe, are happening today or tomorrow, that neighborhood. So, I would expect.
Is that here or in Mobile?
From my understanding is it's here.
It's here? Okay.
In Miami, yeah. My expectation.
Everything doesn't start till tomorrow, actually. Right? If I'm correct.
Correct. Yeah, the practices start.
Yeah, so they don't even have to leave till tomorrow morning.
Correct. So my expectation is something gets done this week. Hopefully, I'm tired of this already.
You try taking the calls, try taking the texts and the emails and the tweets every damn day for 3 hours on this whole thing, and everybody trying to decide what the hell is going on. By the way, did you find it odd that Ken Dorsey didn't stay in Buffalo? I found that really weird. Like, this is your opportunity to become the man. You can lead the team to a Super Bowl and win one. that would like really catapult your ass. And you go with Dable to the Giants. I found that.
Did I miss something? Did that happen this morning?
No, but that's the word, right? That he's going with Dable to the Giants, right?
According to who? According to who? Some basement reporter. I don't think that's not settled yet. I'm going to believe it when I see it.
But if that's the case, wouldn't that be soft on his part? Wouldn't you rather, like, if you want to be the man, right? If that's in you, right? Don't you want to stay there and be the guy? I mean, like, I never thought if we would have hired him here, I was telling Dolphin fans he'd be a moron to leave Buffalo to come here. Sure, I want him here. Hell, I want him to coach for Cristobal. Really, to be honest, I'd rather him coach for Cristobal than anything else. But honestly, how do you leave the Buffalo situation if you're Ken Dorsey, right? That cannot happen. That's soft on his part if that's the case.
It makes zero sense, and it speaks of not wanting too much responsibility, which I don't perceive Ken Dorsey has, because if he goes to Buffalo, Brian Dable, I checked out his press conference this morning. He was asked point blank, are you going to be calling plays? And he kind of danced around that, along with something else I want to get back to a little bit after.
So that means Dorsey could be coming, because then he tells him, am I going to call the plays? And he's like, yeah, you can call the plays.
But even if Dable doesn't call the plays, are we really thinking that he's not going to have his stamp all over that offense? Whereas if he stays in Buffalo, the head coach is Sean McDermott, who's the defensive guy, where it's going to be his offense, no doubt about it. He goes to the Giants, it's Dable's offense. So to me, makes zero sense. The other thing about Dable that was interesting, he was asked point blank if the Giants were his first preference all along. And spoiler alert, as expected, he kind of all he said that of any substance is he said the Giants are a historic organization. It's an honor. And
what else is he going to say? I mean, in the end, Okay, so we can only now play the assume game. Why did he choose the Giants over Miami? Or did Miami even get to offer the job and say, yeah, we like you, Brian, but we got to wait till next week. And he wasn't willing to wait till next week. I don't know. How do you read through all of this?
Oh, well, if that's the case, then that's completely ridiculous from the Dolphins. If that was your guy, you should have said, we'll move up the interview. I mean, that's completely ridiculous. I actually did a story on that, a column on why Dable would choose the Giants, why he would choose the Dolphins. And the Giants, in his favor, went to high school, went to college in New York, so he's staying fairly close. And he's got, as you mentioned, he's got 6 kids, which are enemies, 6 kids. And the youngest one was 4 years old, who we pointed out was falling asleep during the press conference. So there's the idea of like uprooting him. I mean, he's moving a lot closer than schlepping all the way down to Miami. That's number one. Number two, if you're going to look tradition, maybe the Giants are a more like traditional organization, because the Dolphins beyond that era of the 70s, not a whole lot to write home about. The Giants go a lot further back than that. Giants have the 3rd and 5th overall pick in the 2022 NFL draft.
I didn't realize they had 2 picks that high. Wow.
All right, 5 and 7. I'm sorry, not 3 and 5. 5 and 7.
5 and 7.
Correct. And then possibly, I'm going to throw it out there, it's possible that he decided Daniel Jones is a better quarterback to work with than Tua. Again,
he does have the similar traits to the guy he just left.
Tall, athletic.
So maybe he can coach him, because you can't coach the same kind of offense with Tua. But with Daniel Jones, you can try to coach him to play the offense that you just left right now, because they are the same exact athlete. Okay.
And
I would think Josh has a little better arm, but still they're the same kind of athlete. Like the other guy can run. Daniel Jones
the other guy can run. Well, the two big differences is Josh, to me, has a lot better arm, because Josh has a better arm than everybody else, and he's also a lot bigger. But just for the record, so nobody gets offended here, I mentioned those 4 things as possibilities. It could be a combination of all 4. It could be one above the other. I don't want people all getting their feelings because I mentioned the quarterback situation, and I know how that happens with Dolphin fans.
Would Harbaugh be a good hire in your eyes?
Harbaugh would be a great hire. Dude,
okay.
Dude, look at again, I go back to his record in San Francisco was completely insane. He also helped Alex Smith reach another level that he hadn't reached.
No. Andy Reid helped him reach another level. No.
Try again, Big O. Try again. Look at his final seasons his last 2 years in San Francisco. That's when he got really good. Sorry about that.
Coño.
I know what that means, and that doesn't mean I agree with you, Alan. But sorry, dude.
No, it means that Alan estás de carajo. That's what it means.
Well, carajo, tú también. Big O, look at his stats. He started
his last year in San Francisco, sir. He had 1,700 yards, 13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. The year before that, 3,100 yards, 17 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. The year before that, 2,300 yards, 14 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. The year before that, 18 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and 23. With Andy Reid, sir, he had 3,300 yards, 23-7, 3,200 yards, 18-6, 3,400 yards, 20-7, 3,500 yards, 15-8, and 4,000 yards, 26-5. No comparison.
What did I tell you?
Checkmate. It's over.
Sorry, wrong. I said he took him to
Kansas City.
He took them to the next. He took them to the next level.
No.
And then Andy Reid took him to another level with his offense. Sorry.
No, his BBs dropped in Kansas City, and he actually played football with some cojones, something that Alex Smith never played with in San Francisco. You're dead wrong. And Schneider and McLaughlin carried that team with their selections in the draft and in free agency. Those teams were so loaded, and he was losing them just like John Gruden lost his team in Tampa. He got a great situation early. He got his championship, and then it went downhill. Same thing with Harbaugh. It peaked because they were so loaded, and then it started to decline. And in Michigan, he has been nothing overall. But back to your point, Alex Smith played his best football under Andy Reid, and there's no question there. Just read all.
Okay, can you, dude? If you're gonna, I never said that. Do not misquote me, please. I didn't say Alex Smith played his best football under Harbaugh. I said Harbaugh helped him take a major step up from before he got there. You're crazy. I see you're shaking your head at me. You are crazy. And if you think Alex Smith never did anything in Frisco, there was a playoff game.
The real steps was Kansas City, my man. Not in.
He had started becoming a good quarterback.
His playoff successes were with Kaepernick, buddy, not Alex Smith.
I'm aware of that. He had one game that was completely outrageous in the playoffs. Either it was a shootout, either won or lost by a point or whatever, I don't remember, but it was a completely insane game. And yes, he had limitations, which is why they replaced him with Kaepernick. Newsflash, the Chiefs also at one point decided that even though he had become a really good quarterback under Andy Reid, it wasn't enough, which is why they drafted Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, you just said he became a really good quarterback under Andy Reid. I just want to make sure you heard yourself. Okay, I just want to make sure you didn't call him a really good quarterback in San Francisco, but you're calling him a really good quarterback in Kansas City.
He became a good quarterback in San Francisco, and he took another step when he went to Kansas City. If you're going to completely dismiss
backtracking like Carnell Lake,
Big O, nice reference, Steelers safety. If you're going to, I know you for some reason, you have a major issue with Jim Harbaugh. If you can't acknowledge that he did good work with Alex Smith, I don't know what to tell you, dude.
Andy Reid did good work with Alex. Andy Reid showed Alex Smith how to actually throw a pair of balls.
Leave out Andy Reid out of the conversation.
In San Francisco, those things were stuck up, and then in Kansas City, they actually dropped. He had some barbecue. And he dealt with the cold weather, and Andy Reid showed him, hey kid, here, let's show you how to play with some cojones. And they actually showed him how to play with some cojones. He had no cojones. And then
let me correct me if I'm wrong. Jim Harbaugh's record in Frisco, I believe, was something along the lines of what?
It was good. It was great.
44-19-1 or something like that. And it was entirely because of the talent, right? Jim Harbaugh wasn't a good coach.
It's the John Gruden effect. You think I think John Gruden is some great coach because he actually won a Super Bowl? No, I don't.
That wasn't his team. That was Tampa
right. And he added a couple pieces, and it went well. Well, he inherited one hell of a team, but his team got worse as time went on, and then it went awry in San Francisco.
He had 8-8 year, or he had one bad year, and that was it. I mean, dude, I don't. I'm struggling to understand why it is you're so resistant to the guy. I mean, I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Well, no, that's fine. Hey, listen, that's fine, bro. I mean, for many years, I've had people that still believe that Ryan Tannehill was actually a good quarterback. So what do you want me to
Well,
do?
you and I agree on that one. So
It's just I'm kind of used to that. At times I've got to, go against the grain a little bit, go against the waves. And
but
that's
you
what
were
I'm
right
doing
on
here.
Tannehill, and you're wrong on this one. So we're cool there.
I was right on Tannehill. You know that I was right on Tannehill. And I'm
I was
right on this one
on.
too. I'm looking for his.
You're not right on this one. Sorry.
I'm looking for his coaching record
Yeah,
here.
I was looking. I was gonna have to put my glasses on. Look for it so you can find it quicker.
His classes.
Dude,
Why haven't you gotten laser? What the hell is wrong with you? Are you a
my
wussy?
eyesight's too bad.
Are you a wussy? You afraid to get you afraid to get a little laser? Huh?
I was told I was not a candidate.
You're afraid to go blind for a couple of minutes? You do go blind for a couple of minutes.
They go. Before you continue insulting me, I looked into it. I was told I was not a candidate.
What they saddle you with? What's wrong with your eyes?
They're bad. 44, 19 and 1, 13 and 3, 11, 4 and 1, 12 and 4, 8 and 8. What the hell more do you want?
I know he was loaded.
My God, man.
Loaded team.
Yeah, yeah, he had nothing to do with that.
No, no, he didn't. Schneider McLaughlin had everything.
Dude, you're great. You're great. Sorry.
You'll see. I hope he gets the NFL chance because he's not his brother. His brother's a badass. I would give up 3 first rounders to coach his brother. Huh?
No argument there. John Harbaugh's a great coach.
That's an NFL coach. Jim Harbaugh for me is built for kids. That's just me. That's what I think. But
44, 19 and 1.
What are you working on there? It's the Pat Kennedy, Jack McKeon thing.
I might do a column this afternoon. I might do a column this afternoon on why some radio hosts are crazy enough to think Jim Harbaugh's not a good coach. I think that'd be a good column.
It'd be a terrible pro coach. You'll see. It'll be a disaster. All right, what are you working on SI?
No, I'm telling you, I'm going to do a column on why Jim Harbaugh would be a good hire.
Oh, you are? Okay.
No, I'm half joking, although there might be some merit to it because if there are other people who actually are in your camp. No, it's about the coaching search. Might do something Senior Bowl related since people are descending upon Mobile, Alabama this day as we speak.
Yes, little Winsel's. Get me a little cup of gumbo. I'm going to miss that. We'll get it for Sean next year. All right, follow him on Twitter at Poopart NFL and catch him twice a week here for the Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Insider Report. Thank you, Alan. Appreciate you.
You got it. Till we meet
there
again.
You go. The great Alan Poupart, baby.
This has been the Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Insider Report with Alan Poupart, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and never miss a report. Search Big O Radio Show on most platforms. Visit Sports Grill in our sponsored locations in Miami on Bird Road and 114th and in Miami Lakes in the Royal Oaks Plaza.
Did have Andrew Luck, and he didn't win anything. And he was at Michigan, had every resource, hasn't won anything. And in San Francisco, had a loaded team and didn't win it all. But that's all right. Let's keep believing the fraud is actually a really, really good coach. And well, we'll see. Who's got it better? Nobody than Jim Harbaugh. He's been stealing money from Michigan, from Stanford, and from San Francisco. And we'll see who he steals money from next. I'm just not a believer, man. Just not a believer at all. But that's fine. Wasn't much of a Pat Kennedy believer when he was at FSU. I thought he was more of a car salesman. I never thought Jack McKeon was a good manager. It's a cutesy old man with a cigar and a faded memory and a character, and he was fun to have on and all that, but was he really a good manager, or was he just at the right place at the right time? And I always laugh because they brought him back for the second go-around thinking there was some kind of magic left, because it certainly wasn't skill. And, obviously it never happened again because it wasn't ever going to happen. It happened once. That's it. It's over. Let's move on. Let's not make it more than what it is. It was a moment. It doesn't make Jack McKeon a great manager. I'm sorry. Pat Kennedy had some nice teams at FSU. He was able to recruit some guys. Not that I think he was anything like a great coach or anything like that. And Jim Harbaugh landed the recruit of a lifetime in Stanford, and in San Francisco had two general managers that were on a roll like very few have ever been. But in the end, he's never completed anything as a coach. He's never been able to get the great quarterback in college and finish the job. He was never able to get that great team in San Francisco and finish the job. In fact, it started to go awry that they had to get rid of him after just one 8-8 season. You ask yourself what was going on. Go back and check it out. And then at Michigan, he's had every resource possible and has never even come close. And what, that he made the playoffs this year? Big freaking deal. Oh, and by the way, the Big Ten isn't that impressive either. And you can't dominate that. So make it up whatever you want. Use his record if you want, all that stuff. The substance for me is just not there. There's a lot of fluff. There's a lot of sayings, a lot of crap, a lot of hot air, but I just don't see in the end the finished product. And I've never seen it at any level. And he's had every opportunity possible. In Michigan, every resource you can possibly have at the college football level, he has it. In San Francisco, he had a run with two general managers that couldn't load up a team any better than they did. And he couldn't get it done. And it was going awry. And in Stanford, he was able to have one of the generational college quarterbacks and still did not win it all either. So I get it, man. You guys want to fall for the fluff. You can go for it. And you can fall for the record at San Francisco and think that, but there's a lot of John Gruden in him. A lot of John Gruden. And I never thought the John Gruden situation was any good either. And I never looked at him in Tampa like he was the second coming. I just thought he was in the right place at the right time and sprinkled in a couple pieces that they needed. But it was mostly McKay and Dungy that did the legwork and really built that team up. That's the difference. But people can look at it however you want, man. If you think he's the second coming and he's the answer, God bless you, man. Go for it. Miguel Garcia says, are you going to ask for Chris Greer's head if Jim Harbaugh is hired? I don't need to ask for Chris Greer's head. If Jim Harbaugh is hired, he's going to bring in his own people. I can guarantee you that. He will have everybody's head in that team, the entire defensive staff, everybody. Everybody will pay because he's going to bring in his own people. Drew Boo, thank you for a little love on the Cash App. Fools tell him how to run a show, please. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. And as always, thank you all out there giving us love on the Cash App or Venmo Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. If you want to reach in on the program, what else do we have here? Make sure. Okay. Harbaugh is a control freak. He also had a lot of people calling for his head last year in Ann Arbor. Well, he had to take a pay cut last year. So, Big O, you're saying you want McDaniel? I'm just saying that's how they've shaped it. If they're keeping the defensive staff, it's because they're looking for an offensive mind to fix the offense and the quarterback. You don't need to fix the defense, so try to keep some continuity, and that's what they're doing with that. That's the human Jenga game that they're playing, and I kind of understand what they're doing. You're going to get a young coach like a Philbin, like a Flo that really can't build their own staffs, right? So you get a young coach that already doesn't have to worry about the defensive staff, has to just fix the offense, and maybe it works. That's the direction they're going in. The way they're setting it up, it's not for a Harbaugh. It's for a Daboll. It's for a Mike McDaniel. It's for a guy that they feel will have the offensive mind and will be fine with absorbing what's there already on defense and keep that continuity. Hour number 3 is next, and we started with the man, the myth, the legend that is, of course, Ira Winderman and our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
Oh,
Great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Sloman's, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
When you're ready to purchase a new home loan or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today, 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com. When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than a roof above the people you love. Call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411 and ask to speak to Tommy, the owner. They specialize in all kinds of roofs, led by their highly crafted, skilled, and professional roof mechanics. All of their previous customers have an opportunity to enter their bi-weekly drawings to receive free an exterior impact metal door. Please call for more details. That's Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411. Trust Tommy to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family. The Big O Radio Show is looking for an experienced salesperson in the radio or TV business. The candidate must have at least 5 years of sales experience in the broadcast business over the last 10 years. Please email your phone number and resume to bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. That's bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Looking for an aggressive person who can help our platform expand into many avenues in our business. Reach out if you are the person that's able to make a difference. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group, Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
The Big O Radio Show is brought to you by Sports Grill. Good food, good drinks, good friends. Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealership in the Southeast United States. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department. The FLPD is hiring. Go to FLPDjobs.com.
Keep fans. Time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
Friday, let's switch gears here. Let's talk a little basketball. The Miami Heat, hell of a weekend as they end up defeating the Clippers, and then they end up losing to the Raptors over the weekend. And I got to tell you, Ira, it was, I know it was frustrating, and Spo calls the timeout and the by Martin and you know, Butler misses the shot and all that stuff. And obviously Tyler from the top of the key, and he's just got a smile. I walked away from that game like really proud of those guys, because there's no moral victories, because the Heat organization is way above moral victories. But to me, it was like a character loss. It's like, okay, we didn't do everything right, but if you're going to beat us, you're still going to earn every single moment. And we're not going to give up. Even when we screw up, we're not going to give up. I just love the fight of that team all the way to the end. And while it was frustrating to lose, there was just a sense of pride for me in the way that they played all the way to the end. I just love that they never gave up, man.
And that Big O was on the second night of a back-to-back. So it wasn't even that they had to go 3 extra periods, but they played players through the end. You know what I like about games like that, Big O, is it opens a window to who Eric Spoelstra trusts the most. And he did have Tyler Hero out at the end of the game. And I wrote this at sunsentinel.com. The problem is when you need a guy who can get buckets, sometimes you give up something on the defensive end. And it reminds me of those, for the old timers, those Bugs Bunny cartoons when they turn the bad guy into a piece of steak and they're going to attack him. That's who Tyler was. They put Tyler in every pick and roll. They call it putting him through the washing machine. They put him through everything. So Big O, couple of factors there. If Kyle Lowry was available, he might have been on the floor instead. And if Victor Oladipo was healthy, that's the two-way guard we're waiting for. So the Heat eventually could get to a closing lineup where there is no defensive liability. They didn't have Duncan Robinson out there. They didn't have Max Strus out there. They had 4 defenders. They had PJ Tucker, Gabe Vincent, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. And like any team would, you hunt out the weak link and you go from there. So the Heat can still head to something more complete. But that's the problem. So many people were asking me, well, why wasn't Duncan Robinson in there? Or why wasn't Max Strus, who had a nice third quarter, in there? And the thing is, there are guys who are shooters and scorers who other people set up. But in tight situations like that, when you've got to get your own, that's a gift that Tyler Hero has, whether he's making them or missing them. It's also a gift Kyle Lowry has. It's also a gift Victor Oladipo has. So again, it's kind of weird. It's like I've been doing these accurate Pembroke Pines reports from the get-go telling you, Big O, we have yet to see the Heat's full possibilities, and we've still yet to see the Heat's full possibilities. Only 14 games with Jimmy, with Lowry, and with Bam. Waiting on Kyle now, personal situation. I think we all agree it must be pretty damn dire for him to miss this amount of time, so you let him deal with his family situation, and you wait to see what the Heat look like whole. They will look like something better than they were against Toronto on Saturday. Hey, that's all you can say. If on January 31st, I can tell you this, Big O, the Miami Heat are in first place, and the best is yet to come.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Listen, I the only thing I was maybe frustrated, as you mentioned, was Duncan, that it looked like he was coming out of his funk, and then he goes 0 for 5. 0 for 5, and you're playing 3 overtimes. It's like, man, are you serious? This is one of those games that they could have used a few of your threes, overall to kind of loosen things up.
But overall, that's the thing with shooters. They're going to be streaky. So overall, in his last 4 or 5 games, he's still right around 50%. That's going to happen. For every 5 and 9 he's going to give you.
But I need him to, since he's kind of been kind of stanky, not streaky in the first half of the season, I need a longer streak from you right now. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
Not 4 or 5 games. I need you to go on a 2 or 3 week binge where you're like just shooting the hell out of the ball to kind of make up for what you've done so far in the first half.
And maybe we see that tonight. We see that tonight at TD Garden.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's just that was the only thing that was a little frustrating for me in that game. Butler, by the way, played his ass off. I mean,
until he reached the point of exhaustion. So
well, it's a back-to-back and 3 overtimes. I mean, God bless him, dude.
And now he's questionable. And now he's questionable with the ankle tonight. You're actually very good at this. I know you do some fundraising on the side. You try to raise money for your show. I think we need to get a GoFundMe for Jimmy for ankle tape. And I think if all of our listeners, during these accurate Pembroke Pines reports, give $1 or $2, I think we can get Jimmy some ankle tape. He still doesn't tape his ankles. He keeps showing up in these injury reports with possible sprained ankle, questionable tonight. I know some guys are who they are, and they just do not feel comfortable with their ankles being so rigid. But damn, he just keeps showing up with ankle all the time.
Yeah, and how about the brace or something? I mean,
anything.
I have one of those braces that I used to wear all the time for basketball that you like sit on, and then it's that steel thing that goes right along, and then you have the
you wrap them with the Velcro, and you lace it up.
Yeah, man, because I've twisted up my ankle.
But you know what? But you're not a professional athlete, and a lot of it has to do with playing on feel, so you can sort of understand as well.
No, I get it, but man, it's listen. It's like what I say with Lowry. All these absences, which I wish he wasn't absent, because obviously there's something serious going on with some family member, which, you really like at this point now, I'm now more concerned for Lowry, the human being, that he must be going through some real, emotional, mental torture right now, because this has to be something serious with one of his family members. But on the basketball side of it, it's a blessing, because this is a guy that's got so much mileage. He can use the rest. Well, when you get him back, I'd like to see Jimmy out for a little bit too, because that's another guy. He's already had some rest this year. He probably needs a little bit more.
But I also need to see the cohesion. I need to see what they look like with the 5 best players together. And I need to see that for another reason, Big O. And I wrote about it in the Sun Sentinel today. I need to see how it plays out with the rest of the rotation. So if you are starting Bam and PJ and Duncan and Jimmy and Kyle, who's next, and honestly, who's not next. That still remains to be worked out as well.
Yeah, but I worry about it less and less now with the success that we've watched all throughout the roster. And then when we're talking about a Jimmy and a Lowry, those are seasoned veterans that will make quick adjustments. I'm not worried about that. I was more worried about, okay, what are these young guys? Can they add anything? Can they develop depth? And now we know that they now have depth overall. So I'm not as worried as you are about the chemistry side because they're all veterans, man. I just think they'll be fine. Maybe chemistry a little bit for Oladipo, who has not had a lot of basketball in his life on a consistent basis for a while now. That would be the one guy that physically you worry about him.
And again, Big O, it's just weird because Vic is on this trip here in Boston. This is a 6-game, 11-day trip. That's encouraging. And yet the Heat are very quick to clarify, rather, that doesn't mean he's going to play. It just means that he's on the trip. So, you still don't know what's going on. So I will provide the best bad iPhone 7 video evidence I can in the pre-games. The guys who were practice last week, one of the rare practices, saying he was getting more shots up. But Big O, getting shots up and working pregame is not the same as saying you're cleared for full contact. And that's what we're going through with Markieff Morris. I mean, clearly there might be a vertebrae resting against the nerve, and you can want him to come back all you want, but you have to make sure he's able to take the contact. So that's the concern there. With Vic, you want to make sure he's right. Obviously, they invested this season in him. They want to get something out of him. So we will see.
All right, Boston tonight. Your thoughts on the Celtics? What are we seeing tonight?
They should be better. I mean, they have two great all-star level players in Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown. They have a tough, gritty player that I've always liked, a Heat-like player to me, and Marcus Smart. So they have that. But then again, they're rolling out the oldness that is Al Horford. There's some mismatched pieces. Dennis Schroeder's on a one-year deal. And I spoke about this at the start of the season. When you're on a one-year minimal deal, you're playing for yourself as much as you're playing for your team, and it shows. And the other guy, I just don't get. He was one of my favorite Heat players all time, and I think you knew him well enough to know how good a person he is. But what the hell has happened to Josh Richardson? He's fallen off the face of the earth. He went to Philly and he was uneven. He went to Dallas and had a bad season. I thought, hey, Boston, Brad Stevens run franchise. He'll come around. And Josh Richardson now is just another guy, sort of like Justice Winslow is just another guy.
Well, it also happens to the guys that excel here and are coached up, and then they Isaac Austin things, and they go somewhere else. And they played their best basketball here, and they can never, ever match it ever again. And it's something that's happened several times in the Pat Riley era, that we watch guys come back here, revitalize their careers, and whoever it is, Hassan Whiteside never played his best basketball like he did here. Neither did James Johnson. Neither did Keon Dooling. Neither did it's just Isaac
Anthony
Austin.
Mason, you can keep going on.
Mason,
sure.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's been going on forever here.
I really thought that Josh Richardson was going to have a better career. He was trending that way. He's a two-way player. He was making threes. Don't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe it's one of those things. And I wonder if your GMs around the league, do you notice what you and I have noticed over the last 20 years, that, hey, be careful in signing Heat players because, they look great in their system. But then when you get them out of their system and they come to us, it's no longer the same player anymore. And so it's one of those things that I don't know what it is. Is it that you develop them and they're not really alphas and they feel alpha-ish when they're inside this organization, and then when they leave, that alpha-ish type of feeling is gone or something? I don't know what it is. I can't explain it.
You know what? It might be the NBA equivalent of Bill Belichick assistant coaches. They work very well in a system, and then they move out of the system, and yet they keep hiring Josh McDaniels, and they keep hiring, Belichick's proteges, hoping that it'll work out. So it's sort of similar. So as long as the Heat get the best of them, we really don't care what happens when they leave.
No, it's true. It is true. We don't care, but it is weird, man, how so many players, and it does, here's the funny part. Either you're an alpha or you're not. Even alphas like LeBron play their best basketball here because they add a dimension, like Bosch, and they add a dimension to your game. So it's not just a middle of the run player or even a lower level player. Even superstars come here and end up even upping their games. So it's just a thing about this franchise. They will
No,
get the
even it
max
was
out.
Shaquille O'Neal's last good years, and then he went to Phoenix and to Cleveland
Oh,
and to
yeah.
Boston and wasn't the same also.
Yeah, the big cactus. I'm with you there. All right, what are you working on at the Sun Sentinel so
Well,
folks can check you out?
I did a story I posted about the rotation's almost full now with Kyle. We need to see what we're going to get. Duncan Robinson said everyone's curious. And even Bam Adebayo said that's why they pay Spo. He can figure this out. So Eric does have some work. The Heat today signed Chris Silva to his 4th 10-day emergency contract. He has made so much money on these deals, including the one he got from Minnesota. He has now earned more on his 5 emergency 10-day contracts that Caleb Martin is scheduled to earn on his 2-way contract, which shows how crazy this whole thing is. But people, if you know Chris Silva, if you ever met him, just the nicest person in the world. And again, that shows you. If you're a good person, good things can happen. So God bless him. He's there because Omar Yurtseven's in protocols. Looks like Omar will miss at least the next 3 games tonight here in Boston, Tuesday in Toronto, and then Thursday in San Antonio. After that, Silva will become ineligible again. This emergency 10-day contract process ends on February 17th. So this won't go on that much longer. But good kid. Glad to see he's getting his chance, but not that he's going to wind up playing. So some interesting things there. And this also week will determine whether Eric Spoelstra coaches the All-Star game. Monty Williams already locked in as coach of the West. Doc Rivers not eligible in the East because he worked the game last year. So it probably comes down to Eric Spoelstra, possibly Steve Nash with Brooklyn. How cool would it be if JB Bickerstaff coaches in his hometown with Cleveland? So this will go to the wire. The cutoff is after games on Sunday. The Heat's last game before the cutoff is Charlotte on Saturday. So between now and then, at Boston, at Toronto, at San Antonio, at Charlotte, a rough schedule. And I got to tell you, if Eric Spoelstra winds up half a game out of first on Sunday, he won't be that heartbreaking when he, Nikki, and the kids have to go to Hawaii instead of Cleveland on February 20th.
All right, I just hope Silva's loading up a little bit on Bitcoin now that it's at a really nice price while he's getting all that extra cash.
Hey, he always tells me, he says, I listen to the Big O and I play the dips, so I guess he's got it.
All right, good. If he's buying the dips, then Chris Silva's hitting it big, baby. He can own a couple Bitcoins.
And who knows what that translates into Gabonese currency. So that's another part of the equation.
You never know. Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. Catch his work at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. More importantly, subscribe like I do and support all of our local journalists who deserve it. Ira, thank you, my brother. We will catch up later in the week. Thank you.
Wednesday for an hour. Looking forward to that. Thank you, Big O.
That's right. You got it. Wednesday, baby. It's the Slomans Inside the Paint Show. That's Ira Winderman and our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat report.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All righty, let's tell you a little bit about Nature Bee. We love talking about Nature Bee. Yes, it is. I've been taking it for 20 years now. And listen, whether I was at a concert freezing my ass off this weekend or at the fights on Friday, and listen, it's a virus-filled world, and yes, we've got our immune shot, our vaccine shots, maybe boosters, but as you all know, that's not everything. It's not perfect, so you need a little extra protection. And those of you maybe that are maybe compromised a little bit, Nature Bee, man, this is a great way to protect yourself. Boost your immune system. I rarely ever get a cold. If you followed my show for the last 30 years, well, at least if you watched the last 20 and listened, you know I've been taking Nature Bee for 20 years. I take 2 capsules every single day, and it boosts my immune system. It gives me the energy I need. It's got 27 vitamins and amino acids, 28 minerals, and I love it, folks, because the energy is there. There is no 2, 3, 4 p.m. fade, after you have lunch and you get back. No, Nature Bee is sustained energy all the way through. Your fingernails will grow faster and stronger. Ladies, you'll love that. Your hair is going to grow stronger and longer, man, faster. You're going to love it also. There are so many great benefits, but I love it because it boosts my immune system. And now in today's world, listen, it wasn't as virus-filled back 5, 10, 15 years ago, but it was still helping me out. Nowadays, man, I make sure that before I leave my house, every day I take my 2 golden capsules of Nature B. You can do it too. Go to the website, naturebee.com. Use my code Big O so you can get free shipping. And it says Big O there, but the I and the G, use it lowercase BIGO, and you will get free shipping. Feel the power of pollen, baby. naturebee.com. You will love it. All right. Omar will be on tomorrow. Omar now is Tuesdays and Fridays now for Omar. Okay. We added a new insider, so we shuffled a couple things around. Omar, Allen, and we added Marcel. So the guys were, we had to move it around a little bit to kind of adjust it. So Omar is Tuesdays and Fridays now for Omar. Okay. He had the dibs of Monday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Friday. He chose Tuesday, Friday. So you will get to check out Omar tomorrow. Today, by the way, Marcel Louis Jacques will make his debut. I mean, it's not a debut on the show because he's been on before, but the debut as our insider, as one of our 5 incredible insiders here on Le Programme. Mob Rule says Bengals have the 20th ranked O-line, hardly garbage. Chargers have the 10th ranked O-line. So what happened with Herbert? I don't know. Why are you guys arguing about that stuff now? Who cares, bro? Let it go already. I just move on, bro. Move on. Burrow's awesome. By the way, the defense won that game yesterday. That was awesome by that Bengals defense. The Bengals kicker is a badass. Listen, nobody does it by themselves. Joe Montana needed help. Marino didn't have enough help. So everybody needs help in order to win. I don't care how good you are. If you're Tom Brady, you still need help overall. He didn't have enough this year, right, to get it done. Neither did Pat Mahomes, right? So that happens. And I'm not going to call Pat Mahomes a choker either. Okay? Had a bad game, played like crap. The team played like crap. They deserve to lose. But that defense for the Bengals, boy, that second half, come on, man. You got it. I mean, they gave up 3 points, dude. That is awesome. I never saw that coming from the Bengals defense. None of us saw that coming. The O-line's not great. It's funny because they don't have a good O-line. And Burrow gets hit a lot and sacked, but they still can run the ball. Mixon's a good runner, man. And he's a terrific pass catcher. So they still have impactful plays from that position. They got to get the kid an offensive line because you can't expect Joe Burrow to last his entire career that way. It doesn't make any sense. You've got to keep Joe Burrow clean if you're the Bengals. I mean, it's a great story, man. It is so awesome. So fun to watch. I am so happy more than anything for the Bengals fans because they've been through hell and back. But that defense, dude, that Bengals defense, to stop that offense, to shut them, they were embarrassed in that first half. And the way they picked it up in that second half, you got to give that defense a lot of love. Can't do it by yourself. And it's funny, it doesn't matter what quarterback it was, whether it was Matt Stafford, Jimmy Garoppolo, Burrow, you name it. Everybody at one point or another in that game was throwing an interception that would have changed the complexion of that game. It's funny, but and plenty of interceptions were dropped. And that happens all the time in sports. And in football, all the time, quarterbacks, they get away with a mistake or two. You know what I mean? And that happened yesterday. Couple times that, the what is it, Tart kid from San Francisco? I mean, that poor kid isn't sleeping the entire night. Stafford gave the game away, but he dropped it. It's just one of those things. You got to make the plays, man. Everybody's involved in it. No, there's no Super Bowl that you sit there and go, man, they won it all because of that one quarterback. That's it. He carried the whole team. Their defense was terrible. The offense was terrible. No line, no running game, no coaching staff. It was all the court. Nobody ever does that. You need help. And that was a great example yesterday with Joe Burrow. Because without that defense, without Mixon, and without that kicker, it's a different game. And Joe Burrow's awesome. He, out of all the young quarterbacks, he's the one guy, as I've said before, that, he's got my stamp of approval. Like, yeah, that's the shit right there, bro. That guy's the man. And yet he needed that help, because they all need that help, man. Great performance by that defense. Man, that was impressive by that defense. Super sweet performance by them. Zachary says, do you think Brady has decided to retire? Is just saying he has not decided to take back control and come out with the news when he's ready? Zachary, can I give you a little something here? Are we ready? Let's play the reality game of what's going on. Okay, are you guys ready? Tom Brady's retiring. Okay? Schefter knows it, and so does Jeff Darlington. They're both close to the situation. One to the agent, the other one to the player. This is just, hey, you guys get the story, but now you have to sit on it and kind of take the negativity. Oh, well, wait a minute. The dad's this, that, and I'm saying he's gone. He's history. It's over. And they both guys got it right, but this is the game you got to play. For guys like that, Jeff doesn't do it nearly as much. Schefter's the one that ends up doing it a lot. Schefter will even get stuff wrong for people, just so he could take the bullet and then, get the fruits of it after. That's just the way it is. So he's retired already. He's done. There's those two guys, they didn't guess. Jeff Darlington's way too responsible to guess. He knows. And Schefter knows, dude. Schefter gets all the stories. He's hooked with he's part of CAA. It's one of those things. Woj does it too. They're all tied with the same agencies. So the same agencies that represent a lot of these players represent them. So they get everything through the agency because everybody's tied. So they're going to give it to their own reporter in their own agency before another reporter in another agency gets it. See what I'm saying? So this is all Schefter and Darlington just have got to go through this BS of the denials and all that, but they know it's true. It's done. It's over. This is just a game they're playing and all that crap. Okay? He's gone. Now, that leads me to something I wanted to talk about. Tom Brady's going to retire. Okay? Now that Tom Brady's going to retire, it is time for me to get selfish because all I ever give a shit about is the Dolphins. Okay? All I want is the Dolphins to win 87 titles in the next 87 years. All right? So now that Tom Brady's going to retire, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have like 87 free agents. Okay? Yeah, I like the number 87. So 87 free agents they have on the team, even though there's only 53 on the roster. Okay? There's 87 free agents. There's a lot of them. And Ryan Jensen, their center, who's a stud, is one of those free agents. Guess who I want for the Miami Dolphins? Okay, now that Tom Brady's going to retire and a whole bunch of other players are going to leave that team because once they know that the GOAT is gone, they're out of there. Okay? The Bucs won't even make the playoffs next year. That's how bad it's going to be in Tampa Bay. That whole wait for tickets and all that'll die out either. Like they had that back in the day with Tony Dungy and those Warwick Dunn and Mike Allstott teams and all that stuff, Warren Sapp teams. They had waiting lists of 20,000, all that, and that thing cleared out right away once that whole dynasty died. Or the chance of building that dynasty, unfortunately. They didn't get it because they didn't have the quarterback to finish it off. But the bottom line is, you need to go get Ryan Jensen. Okay? If you're Alex Kappa is also a free agent. He's a guard. But, Dieter would be good to compete at guard and a backup center. So you can keep him in that sense. You already have him under contract. He knows how to play center. He knows how to play guard. He can be one of those guys, challenge at the guard spot, back up the center, and back up Ryan Jensen if you need it. But Jensen would be the guy that you listen. What have I told you? If you're going to have a Tua type quarterback, if you're going to have the Bob Greasy type, if you're going to have the Drew Brees type, if you're going to have those kind of quarterbacks, the Kyler Murray types, okay, even though Kyler Murray has a talent that the other guys don't have, the elusiveness. But my point is, if you're not going to have a tall quarterback back there, your center and your guards have to be elite. Not good, elite. So go get yourself an elite center right away that can protect Tua, protect the middle of that line. He did it for Tom Brady. He can do it for Tua. And then you got to start then bettering. Now you've got one in Hunt on the right side. You've got to make sure now you get something on the left side. I don't know if it's Kappa or whatever, but go get yourself or take care of that guard spot and make the middle of that line absolutely awesome. And it starts with Alex Kappa. I'm sorry, it starts with Ryan Jensen. Ryan Jensen from Tampa would be the guy that if I'm the Dolphins, that is one of my top targets I want to go for in free agency. All right. So the story of Tom Brady retiring is a great one. Not because I give a crap. No, because I care about the Dolphins. And the demise of the Bucs will open up a world of talent that will seek new contracts. And I hope our Dolphins give them one of those new contracts. Okay. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay. By the way, Tommy B. Butts Enterprises. We love talking about Tommy. Serving South Florida for over 25 years. No buts about it. Listen, before we get into the rainy season in a couple months, if you've been worried about that roof of yours, or maybe you still got a blue tarp or whatever it is, or you need to get it inspected, call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises. Go to the website, Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com. Call them 954-735-9826. They specialize in all kinds of roofs. All their work is fully guaranteed. Customers' complete satisfaction. No buts about it. Tell them that Big O sent you. I promise you, folks, if you're moving into a new house, you better inspect that roof. If you want to make some improvements before we get to hurricane season, improve that roof. Before we get into the rainy season, improve that roof. Whether it's your business, whether it's your home, protect your family, protect your pets, protect your business. Protect it by making sure the roof above it is doing its job and it's prepared for the heat, the humidity, the rain, the torture, the wind, the storms. Call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises and tell them that Big O sent you. 954-735-9826. That's 954-735-9826. AAA plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. Tommy B. Butts Jr. Love it. All right. I heard Wentz was going to the Bucs. Good. That's good for them. Wentz is no longer the guy anymore. He lost his mojo. If Frank Reich can't get his mojo back, nobody will ever get his mojo back. Ever. So, to me, it doesn't matter. That doesn't do anything. Storm says Teron Armstead at left tackle and Jensen at center would solve a lot of issues. I love Armstead. The only thing I don't like about Armstead, he's very injury prone. So as long as you're not committing a lot of guaranteed money to him, I can understand. And if you've got a young left tackle that you can groom behind him, then I understand. But if you're giving him a big time contract and a lot of guarantees, Eric, Teron Armstead is a gamble. Okay? He just does not play entire seasons, but he's a damn good player. But he misses a ton of games. That's the problem with him. That's the only thing that I worry about with Teron. I remember when he was at the East-West Shrine, I want to say Arkansas Pine Bluff, right? Is Teron Armstead. He came from a little school, and I was at the East-West Shrine game, and he had just a phenomenal week for at the East-West Shrine, and he ends up getting the invite to go to the Senior Bowl, and that's when obviously everything else is history, and his career took off from there, because once you get that second invite from the East-West to the Senior Bowl, you make such Arkansas Pine Bluff, I was right. You make such an impact. It opens so many eyes that everybody notices you. And we had a defensive tackle. I'm forgetting his damn name now. Damn it. What's his name? Oh, I was a big fan of his too. And God. Forgot his name, because somebody help me. Now I'm brain farting, but there was an NFL defensive tackle that I was big on. He played like 10, 12 years, and he got drafted in the 3rd round. And he came out of Hampton. I even remember the school, Hampton. And he had a big week in the East-West and then went to the Senior Bowl. Same thing. And it was Parcells and company that drafted him in the 3rd round. Trying to remember his damn name now. Overall, see if I can remember it. But I know that I have I know for sure that I have like a soundbite of it and everything. That's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to find the soundbite of it because it's kind of funny. The soundbite. Yes, it is. Langford. Thank you. Kendall Langford. That was it. Kendall Langford. Thank you. So I was a big Kendall Langford fan, and I loved him at the East-West Shrine. And that he ends up going to the Senior Bowl, and he blew up. And that's happened over the years. Garoppolo's that, same thing. A lot of guys during, their run, if they end up making an impact in the East-West that's big enough, they get the invite to the Senior Bowl, and that just catapults them. I think Kendall Langford might have gone in the 6th or 7th round, and then with the East-West Shrine and then the Senior Bowl, it pumped him up to the 3rd round, and he was a very good run stuffer back in the day. Let's see if I have. Trying to see if I can. I remember I have the draft, and I'm trying to see if I have the one of Kendall Langford where I'm acting like an idiot. It would be fun to play it for you guys. Let me see. God, I got all these. I'm just going through all of this stuff, and I'm looking at this, and I've got all these press conferences from back in the day. Cam Newton stuff. Mikhail LaShore, Mark Ingram. It's a combine file. I haven't even gone. I've got so much sound in my in the computer that I have. I'm at a point now where it's just ridiculous what I have already in sound stashed in this computer. Well, actually, it's not in the computer. It's in hard drives is what it is. Oh, well, what can I tell you? All right. 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the program, that's 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the program as we take you till about 1:30, I would say, because we're going to have Marcel Louis Jacques is going to join us from ESPN. He is our newest insider to the family, and he'll be joining us twice a week. So we'll have a little fun with him overall. We'll see if we'll see his thoughts on what's going on with the changes with the Miami Dolphins and when the hell the new coach is going to land here with the Fish. Mr. Spock says Finns have a stellar rookie wideout and a tight end, a number 2 wide receiver that's only played 1 complete season, once in 6 seasons, plus a bunch of Jags that are a bunch of injuries. But let's keep comparing Tua to Burrow. I don't think anybody, I'm not comparing Tua to Burrow. I guess you guys are having your own conversations on there. With Brady potentially retiring, do Finns go after Godwin, Fournette, and possibly maybe Ryan Jensen? Godwin's coming off a knee injury, so I'd be a little concerned with that. Fournette is not a bad option, okay? And Jensen's not a bad option. What I won't do is what somebody mentioned to me about trading for like Alvin Kamara or something. You don't trade for running backs. You never trade for running backs. That don't make a sense, man. You know? That's the problem. That don't make sense. So that I would stay away from that part right there. Okay. Do we have anything on the draft? Do we? No. Oh well. I thought maybe I could find it here and play it for you guys because it was kind of funny back in the day. You know? What can I tell you? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Here comes Ray Anderson, EVP of Football Operations with Miami's pick.
With the 66th pick, Miami selects Kendall Langford, defensive end, Hampton.
Yes. You have no idea how much I love this kid.
There you go. I found it. That to walk you through the whole scenario. I'm in New York. This is the year that they drafted Jake Long. I'm at Radio City Music Hall for Once QAM under Joe Bell. Actually does the right thing. So we've got Joe, Jimmy, and Mandich down here at the stadium. And I normally would do the show next to them. But this year, the QAM actually spent money and they sent me up to New York since we had the number 1 pick. So we end up picking, obviously, the offensive tackle. And I end up interviewing him right there because he comes down off the stage and my table was right off stage, right? So Jake Long comes to us. I interview Jake Long. And then around the 3rd round is where I was thinking, okay, this is where Kendall Langford would go and a guy that can help against the run and all that. And he was exceptional against the run throughout his whole career. And that was the guy that I was targeting. And sure enough, that's the guy that they ended up, picking, which was a beautiful thing.
Here comes Ray Anderson, EVP of Football Operations with Miami's pick.
With the 66th pick, Miami selects Kendall Langford, defensive end, Hampton.
Yes. You have no idea how much I love this kid.
So anyway, there you go. So that's a little classic draft stuff from back in the day. What can I tell you, right? We work it. He's a good dude, by the way.
Keep on smoking.
There you go. I love it. Ooh, you know what? I have my daughter when she was young. I had her record some stuff for me back in the day.
Na 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 na. Bella cheat or is it Bella choke? Na 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 na. Cheaters never prosper.
Although it's not really accurate in Belichick's, But that was the whole Spygate thing when it was going on. My daughter, I don't know what year was Spygate. Sean, can you tell me what year was Spygate? She's 22 now. Yes, she's 22 now. Just want to make sure I got it right. She's 22 now. When was Spygate? How old was she? Because she's like really young there.
Na 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 na. Cheaters never win.
She must have been like 5 or 6 or 7. So if she's 22, was Spygate really 15 years ago?
07, yes.
Wow, it was 15 years ago. How about that? So that's when my daughter made the debut on the show.
Na 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 na. Cheaters never prosper.
Yep. There you go. Has to give you guys some, I could get you some classics. We've got classics all over here. If I really started like dipping into stuff, I could find all kinds of drops that you guys would be tripping on. You know what I'm saying? How about Kuiper?
And I think that's the key, Chris. When you look at a quarterback like Joey Harrington, we talk about leadership, and we go back, and I'll tell you, if I didn't think Joey Harrington and David Carr play, I'd tell you, I think they would be overrated. I'd push them down to 30th, 50th, and Jeff George 84th, higher 30th. I don't see anything with Harrington or Carr that you can't say is a question mark in terms of them becoming a quality starting quarterback. Sure, you can say Carr, the sidearm delivery. You can say Harrington doesn't have the gun. There are a lot of quarterbacks that don't have tremendous arm strength and win Super Bowls. So to me, if I thought they were overrated, I'd tell you. I don't see that happening with these two. I think they're going to both be solid or much better than that at the pro level. And I think when you look at Carr and Harrington 3-4 years down the road, you are not going to call any one of these two players a bust or a disappointment.
Never. You would never call Carr or Harrington a bust or a disappointment. What's he saying about Tannehill? Come on.
With the 8th pick in the 2012 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Ryan Tannehill, quarterback, Texas A&M.
Tannehill. Yeah, Tannehill. All righty.
Quarterbacks in the top 8 for the first time in the 21st century. It happened in '99.
There we go.
Couch McNabb and Achilles Smith went 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
So we haven't had to wait very long.
Nope.
To wonder if Miami will try to get some answers at that quarterback position. Ryan Tannehill on the orange carpet now for the Dolphins.
There you go.
What do you think about Ryan Tannehill? Wide receiver in 30 games, quarterback in 19 games. This has never happened. Top 10 pick for a guy who was a position change, and a quarterback, he was a wide receiver while the other guy was playing quarterback, wasn't even drafted. So this is unprecedented this high in the draft for an inexperienced quarterback like Tannehill at the major college level, who also had some struggles against big-time opponents this past year. You say, okay, then why is he a top 10 pick? What did they see, Miami and Ryan Tannehill? First of all, ideal size, strong arm, very athletic, very competitive, and very
He's
smart.
awesome.
You watch Ryan Tannehill at Texas A&M. You see
Fantastic.
His size, his computer numbers.
Telling
they're
you.
on the top 10 pick.
Tearing it
And
up.
when you look at the way he threw.
Tearing it up.
He had to move out of that pocket, did a nice job. Watch him hit.
Yeah.
I have one thing to say to you. Kiss my fat ass.
That's right. You tell her. That's right, Tyra Banks. Way to go. I love it. Yep.
The Knicks have lost their swagger.
Yep. I don't know if you guys knew that, but the Knicks did lose their swagger. Not exactly sure if you guys knew that, but, they do.
Knicks suck.
I mean, it's just one of those things. What else can I tell you? There you go. I got drops to go for here to Kingdom Come. I got to tell you. It's it doesn't end. We could go all over the place, right?
You across the ocean over there.
That's right. Don't cross the ocean over there.
You across the city. You can't come over to our place talking noise like that. You get your butt beat.
We can come up with lots of them.
We ready. We ready. We ready.
Anybody remember those? Oh yeah.
He is defenseless. He's defenseless. Don't you understand? I cannot believe that. I can't believe that.
You can't? Come on, Dave.
I don't care.
You don't?
And I'll fight any one of you if you want it.
Okay, all right. Damn.
Where's the flag?
Oh yeah. These are all classics, man. I haven't played these in a long, long time. Get a little Dave Lamont in there. I mean, come on, bro. It's a beautiful thing. I'm just going through all of these things. I'm seeing all this stuff. There's all kinds of things that I can play. And it's just, by the way, Sean, are we going to get in trouble for any of the stuff I played? What do you think? Yay or nay here? What's going on? Which one is it? Huh?
Grey's Anatomy, y'all.
That's right, baby.
I think we'll be fine because it's audio, not video.
Okay. All right. Okay. Just want to make sure.
I may be wrong, but I'll find out when I go to edit.
No, it was outlawed in 1978. This is called free market price fixing.
There you go. What were you saying?
I said I may be wrong, but I'll find out once it gets posted.
Okay. All right.
So that's what this is about. Covering your ass.
Okay. Well, that's
Yep,
kind of
pretty
what
much, that's what it's about.
I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure we're on the same page there. Okay.
Smoke.
You know, that's all.
Tastes just like a ripe banana. I don't know how they do it.
Right. I'm telling you. That's what it is.
I could turn the straw upside down and we could take turns sucking.
There you go. That's a show called The Loop. Did anybody ever see The Loop? It was actually a really good show.
We don't care how you got her shirt off, boy. We just want to know what the yabos look like.
Just saying, if you ever saw The Loop, it was actually a pretty good show. Why it lasted only one season, I have really no idea, to be quite honest with you. I don't.
It's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous.
I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. I thought it was kind of ludicrous myself. But what can I tell you? Okay. How about Marino? A great pick. Yeah, he was. He was a great pick. Yeah, let's do it. Thomas Jensen says, love it, Big O. Going down memory lane. You got the goods, Jim Mandich. You want some Mandich? Huh?
Hula, hula.
Come on. We got no Mandich here.
Ricky rocks my socks.
Come on. No Mandich.
Captain Curtis Stevenson. You'll be back here tomorrow with a panel. You'll have Joe Zadacki and Steve Goldie Goldberg.
Us? No, we don't have no Mad Dog. We have nothing here. We have nothing. Nothing. I'm telling you.
We got a 69 in progress at the Triple X Theater. Officers requesting backup and a roll of paper towels.
I love myself, cause no one will love me.
Boy, does he have a lot of chutzpah.
No, we don't do those kind of things.
Hi, this is G. Gordon Liddy, and they don't come any worse than Neil Rogers.
We would never do that. Now, the question is, do you do this?
Estoy estrangulando el pollo para acá.
That's really the question, okay? That's really the question over there, okay? And the other question is?
It is so hard.
Something you can't explain, you know? But what can I tell you? By the way, we do want to remind you that Sloman's Home Security is a proud sponsor. We love Sloman's. I love using it every single day here at the house. I love keeping up with everything going on in the home. Really, it's you know, I've got these double alarms, right? Because we used to have an alarm, but it was kind of lame. And then we got Sloman's, which is just completely different now. You know, my dogs can tell you when somebody's at the sidewalk. Well, guess what? This is the beauty now. If I hear the dogs bark, I just hit the camera and I see who's at the sidewalk now. Because I can do that with my cameras now. I can see who's on the sidewalk. I can see on the street. You know, and I told them, hey, I got to get one on the side of the house so I could get the streets. Why? Because, you know, you want to film people that are doing stupid things, and that way it goes viral and that kind of stuff. No, seriously. But that's what I love about my Sloman's Home Security, that I know what's going on in and around my home. Okay. Oh, yeah, they're delivering something across the street. That's why the dogs are going crazy. Oh, wait a minute. I stepped out for a moment. Somebody's dropping off a package. I can even talk to the person that's delivering the package through my doorbell camera. That's what I love about my Sloman's Home Security. You know, some of these drivers, I won't name the companies, but they don't have common sense. Some of them are really good people and they understand where to put the package so it doesn't get damaged. So sometimes when I see them come to the door, I'll tell them, hey, can you put the package on the right side of the porch over there? So that way I make sure it doesn't get wet, because sometimes they'll put it on the left side, which will be really accessible to some rain, water, all that kind of stuff. So I tell them where to put it. Or if some food's coming and you don't want any contact, hey, just leave it there. I'll pick it up. Boom, whatever. That's what I love about Sloman's Home Security. And right now, folks, that doorbell camera that is so important to giving you peace of mind, we're going to give it to you for free. The first 40 Big O listeners right now, 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME. We have the link below here in our YouTube page. You will get the free doorbell camera right now, folks. It connects directly to your smartphone with the Sloman Shield. And, of course, we're going to give you a free customized home security system, professional installation when you use our low-cost central station monitoring. And you're getting an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3-arm doors, and a backup battery. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 Big O listeners, you will get the free doorbell camera. 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME. And make sure you tell them that the Big O Radio Show is the one that sent you. All right? There you go. All right. Appreciate you all out there. Mad Dog Mandich would have called Flo out. Those are FedEx ground drivers you're talking about. Tony, I'm not going to tell you who I'm talking about. There's all kinds of people. That's all I can tell you. That's it. Okay? All kinds of people.
Rock-a-blah, baby.
Let's see. What else do we have? On a different note, Chew means we crack in DA prophetic code. I don't know what the hell is that. Man, I can't believe it's been almost 15 years since Cam Cameron was coach. And life flies when time travels when you've suffered a lot of football. Sam Gordrich says, man, it's like an old home week with Mad Dog Neil Rogers. Oh no, Phil Henry love. I don't think I have any Phil Henry bites. I don't, unfortunately. Can't help you on that one. Okay.
There's no crying in baseball.
There isn't. But we got some of that. Anybody ever watch North Dallas 40?
Oh, Max, that's gross.
Not gross. Gross is when you go and kiss your grandpa goodnight and he sticks his tongue down your throat. That's gross.
See? There you go.
If I had a dog like you, I'd shave his butt and make him walk backwards.
That's right. There you go.
Okay, what? This time, I'm gonna get the bastard for this. All right. Mother clotheslined me last time. I'm gonna tear his ass up. I lost 4 teeth. 4 teeth. I'm gonna tear his ass up.
That's it. North Dallas 40 for you youngins out there. You never watched it? Oh, baby.
10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
5 minutes.
I love that. He's screaming 10 minutes, 5 minutes. How much? Oh.
Wait a minute, I'm just getting to the weird part.
The weird part? The weird part?
Yeah, it gets weird.
It gets weird. It gets weird. Let's see. What else do we have? Mike McDaniel, Kellen Moore will be interviewing for second interviews. We've got the Harbaugh rumor that has so far no substance behind it because there's been no real reports behind it right now. It's been some dude somewhere that reported it and then it went viral. For his sake, I got to say, for his sake, he needs Harbaugh to get hired because this is one like, okay, dude, like you'll never, ever be able to tweet anything else ever again because you can't throw that out there and then it doesn't, happen. You know what I'm saying? There was, I don't know her name, but there was some Heat, some girl that covers the Heat, Moss or something. And she reported like some trade was done last year or the year before, and it was never even happened. I forgot what the hell it was. It's just one of those things, like people that never ever break stories, and then all of a sudden they come out of nowhere with this story, and it's like, yeah, it's hard to believe anything. And there's nothing out there. Nobody's reporting it. You know what I mean? Like no credible source is reporting it. And so that's where, and of course it's gotten a bunch of you all out there all hot and bothered about Harbaugh. So we've got that going on now with Harbaugh. And by the way, I got to say, this would be a scumbag move on his part to leave. Just got to call it like I see it. This is typical of a scatterbrain like Jim Harbaugh, because a responsible human being, a decent coach, decides to leave the second he's done in the bowl game and says, okay, I want to go to the NFL. You don't do it now when recruiting is already going on, and now for them to replace you is going to be a mission. Let me tell you something. That's a major, I don't know if we get in trouble for this, Sean, I'm sorry, but that's a major dick move on his part. Okay? Let me just say that again. Okay? It's a major scumbag move on his part to decide now that you want to leave. You should have done that a while ago. So if you really care about Michigan, right, and you want to do what's best for them, dude, you can't be recruiting people on one end and then want to leave on the other. And if you're going to leave, you should have made that decision a while ago. So for me, I will tell you this, that's not really what you want from your coach. This is a terrible, terrible move and irresponsible on his part. At this point, his responsibility should be only to the Wolverines. The fact that he took the interview just with Minnesota is, I think it's insulting. I really think about this. Okay, you have sucked. You have never even come close to living up to all the hype that came to Michigan. These people have given you everything. Big time salaries, anything you needed. You want to go to Europe, we'll take you to Europe. They've hung on to your ass longer than they should have. And you finally rewarded them with a decent season this year. What is it, 7, 8 years into your tenure? And this is how you're going to reward them? By leaving them at this time? Dude, I'm sorry. I'm disgusted by that. If I'm the people at Michigan, I'm absolutely disgusted by this. They've sacrificed more sticking with him, and then now's when you're going to decide? I mean, come on, man. Be a responsible person. Make that decision early. You didn't make it? Now make the commitment. Whether you like it or not, you need to commit to those young men. That's just me. Okay? Tony says, it was the Ginn draft. I was listening to 560 on the clock. Brady Quinn available. And I remember Mad Dog saying, come on, Dolphins, complete the cycle. Oh, yeah. Well, he wanted Brady Quinn badly, and he even put on a Notre Dame hat that day because I was sitting next to the Mad Dog. He put on a freaking Notre Dame hat just for Brady Quinn. I don't know if anybody, did any of you ever take a picture of that? Because you would have to, I don't know, were phone cameras even working then, right? No, right? It was just regular cameras. Somebody's got to have the picture of the Mad Dog putting on the Notre Dame hat in the bubble. Somebody has to have it. Like, that's how, and we were all fooled, right? And Brady Quinn kept falling after that. Greater Good says, Neil Rogers in person was a soft-spoken, very kind man. He was, actually. Very nice and very soft-spoken. He was nothing like the guy you see on the mic. Yeah. I, on the other hand, am the same guy on the mic and off the mic. I do like to troll on occasion, got to admit. Yes, you do, Thomas. And Thomas is one that disagrees with me, okay? And I don't block him. But he's not an asshole. That's the difference. Thomas makes his point. Doesn't like Tua. Doesn't believe in him. There are guys out there that don't believe him. Doesn't mean I don't block you because you disagree. I block you because you're an idiot. That's all. Or you're a troll and you start to, post. That's something Thomas doesn't do either. He makes his point, but he doesn't post his point 47 times straight on the board. If not, he wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? So that's for that guy that was earlier like, oh, we disagree with you. Is Marcel ready? Wait a minute. Do we have Marcel? Because you know what? Now that I think about it, I may not have the right. There we are. All right. Let's get to a little Miami Dolphins talk. That's right, baby. It's time for our Edge energy drink, Miami Dolphins report.
Time to get the edge on the Miami Dolphins with our Edge Energy Drink Miami Dolphins report. When you want the energy drink that's delicious, smooth, and has no aftertaste, you can only order Edge Energy Drink at myedgedrink.com. That's myedgedrink.com. Here's the ESPN Dolphin insider, Marcel Louis-Jacques.
All righty. There we go. Edge, baby. Yeah. 1 o'clock. Let's get the edge.
What an intro, man. I'm honored.
There you go. Oh, you're part of the family now, Marcel. So you get the special intro, you get the special border, you're living on the edge. It's a beautiful thing, man. How you feeling? You feeling good?
Oh, yeah, man. I'm feeling good. It looks like we're past that little cold streak, man. I thought I left Buffalo a few months ago, but it felt like Western New York this weekend. So I'm happy to see the sun. Happy to go outside and not need to bundle up anymore. I thought somebody lied to me about these winters, man. Iguanas weren't the only thing falling out of trees, man. I was ready to collapse.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. I was at a concert on Saturday night, an outdoor concert, and I was freezing my ass off, dude. God bless, man. It's crazy stuff. All right, so this Harbaugh story, I haven't, not to pick on the guy in Chicago, but I haven't seen a credible source actually report this. So it's hard for me to believe it. And I know the whole Ross love affair, and we talked with Alan Poupar about that, and I get that. But outside of connect the dots, is there any substance to this story at all, like real substance, or is it just strictly rumor right now, Marcel?
Yeah, I don't like to outlet shame. Because anybody, you never know who knows who in these days, man. Like, who knew who Shams Charania was before he joined the Athletic, before he joined Stadium?
The dude was breaking stories while he's in class.
Exactly. So I don't like to.
You know about that, right? You know about that, right?
The dude was a hooper, man. He was a baller. He is an industry baller, man.
Isn't he, bro? He is awesome.
The guy's great. The guy's great. I'm more of a Woj guy, but either way,
that's fine. They're all great, dude. I got no problem. I got respect for all those guys, however they do it. But the fact that the kid was doing it while he's in class, come on, man. Yes,
exactly.
That's awesome.
So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't like to shame anybody based on who they work for. He does have 8,000 followers. It is my understanding that there is nothing to the Harbaugh rumor. I've got multiple people telling me nothing to it. These are people that I trust. If I'm a Dolphins fan, the NFL is the NFL. What's true Monday might not be true Thursday, but as of Monday, there is nothing to the Harbaugh rumor. There's definitely no way he's telling the team at Michigan today that he takes the Miami Dolphins job. It's not happening.
Marcel, by the way, this is already a major dick move on his part. The fact that he interviewed in Minnesota now, dude, you should have, if you wanted to leave, you should have told Michigan after your game that, hey, listen, I'm thinking of going to the NFL, so Michigan can prepare for life post Harbaugh. If you leave now in the middle of the recruiting season and all of that's incredibly irresponsible on his part. And the fact that Michigan stuck with him throughout all this time, because I know what they did this year, but he has so underachieved there with all the hype and the money and all of that. I find it really irresponsible that you would even think of leaving now. At this point, your dedication should be to those kids. And next year, after your final game is done, whenever it is, then make your declaration. That's what responsible professionals do. Putting Michigan in this position now, I find it to be really unfair, actually. That's just me.
Loyalty only applies to the teenagers playing this sport, right? Not to the grown men getting paid millions of dollars. But it's my understanding that, this is either some random newfound interest in NFL coaching, which I don't believe, or it's a ploy to get more money from Michigan, which I do
That's
believe.
what I
think
thought it was. That's what I thought it was. But when he interviewed with Minnesota, I was like, oh man, now you're really dressing it up. Because if you just want money by going to interview in Minnesota, you're making it that harder on yourself on the recruiting side. So, you're kind of also hurting yourself, because if you still plan on staying, you're just making it that much harder by interviewing in Minnesota, because parents and guardians are going to go, wait a minute, I don't know if I want to send my kid there. Is he really dedicated to it?
Yeah, it's a odd play. It's a weird play. It's one that I'm sure Jim and his agent have kind of discussed at length. But it's, again, my understanding that that little train is not on its way to South Florida. Like, there might be, I think that he gets his extra couple million. He just cut his salary in Michigan. Like,
Yeah.
I think he and the athletics department came to an agreement that, hey, I haven't been living up to my salary these past several years. I can't beat Ohio State. I can't get out of the Big Ten. And they paid him accordingly. Now that he's got a few accolades under his belt, then I think he wants that money back.
He can't even beat Michigan State. Okay. So they've had his number too, overall. It's crazy. All right. So now on the flip side, maybe you're thinking like I am on that, which it doesn't really bode well for you, by the way, because I'm not really right in my mind. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So now are you thinking like I am again on this? The reports are they want to keep their defensive staff, right? So they like what they saw from their defensive staff, as you broke the story couple weeks back, that Flo wasn't even talking to his staff from Thanksgiving on. So I'm thinking the front office got a good feel for the staff working on its own in that second half of the season. So word is they want to keep the staff together. So that's why we're hearing the Dables of the world and the Kellen Moores and obviously the Mike McDaniels. It's kind of a human Jenga thing. All right, we bring you in. You don't have to worry about the defense. It's kind of in place. There's continuity and all that. What doesn't have any continuity or chemistry is on offense. That's your field. That's what you get to fix. So in a way, they want the new coach to kind of have to ease in that transition. So they help them along by having that defensive staff in place. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I think it is definitely why we're seeing their interest in offensive-minded coaches. They need an innovator. They need somebody creative to come and jumpstart what's really, and I'm writing about it as we speak, a unit that has one building block, depending on what your thoughts on Tua Tagovailoa are. I think Jalen Waddle is the only one who, damn near universally we can say, okay, this guy is, this is something to focus your offense on. This is a piece to focus your offense on. So I think that's why they're looking for somebody who can put, a majority of his effort into that side of the ball, keep your rising stars like, Josh Boyer, like Gerald Alexander, like Charles Burks, guys who have worked wonders there in the secondary. Keep them, elevate them, whatever you have to do to make sure that they don't leave South Florida. Do it. However, I am of the mindset that this defense isn't exactly, it's not like plug and play. It's not like I was just watching the U earlier this morning. It's not like that U defense, when Dennis Erickson comes in and they say, leave us alone, don't touch it.
Right.
They still got personnel decisions to make. They still need to fix that linebacker core. They need to figure out what they're going to do with Xavier Howard. The smart move is to pay him his money and keep it pushing. But there are decisions to make on that side of the ball. It's not exactly, and then they need to figure out what was the difference between weeks 9 through 18 and weeks 1 through 8, and make sure 1 through 8 does not happen again.
It won't happen again because Flo won't be talking to them. Flo wasn't talking to them in weeks 9 through 18. So, like as you said, so, you can, by the way, shed some light on that stuff. What more have you learned from all of that he wasn't talking to his staff in the back end of that season? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, from what I'm told, and that kind of took on a life of its own. When I say not talking, and I explained it on ESPN Daily, when I say not talking, I don't mean he's just showing up to work, literally not speaking to people. I think as far as game plans goes, as far as weekly plans and meeting plans goes, he kept that close to the vest. That is my understanding based on multiple sources inside the building. Now, I haven't pushed since then. It seems like a moot point. The man is gone now. Hopefully gets a new job somewhere else. He deserves that. I do think that, he might have got the yank a little too soon, but it's a moot point now that he's gone. I hope that he bounces back somewhere. But that was just
doesn't look like anybody's got him on the radar anymore, because the Giants were the only team that were really talking Flo, and they chose Dable, and he's not a finalist on any other job, right? Have you heard? Is he a finalist anywhere else?
He's reportedly going to be interviewing in New Orleans. I think that was a pretty fortunate opening for him. I think they got some cool pieces on defense that he'll be able to work with. So I think that's a great fit, especially.
Yeah, but their problem is offense.
The problem is offense. No, they didn't have Jameis. They didn't have a quarterback for most of the year. They still got Alvin Kamara.
Well with Jameis. He did pretty well with Jameis, dude. It was like 4-1 his touchdowns to interception ratio. Like Sean Payton, like Jameis didn't play bad football with Sean Payton. He played pretty good football with Sean Payton, dude. He was on his way. I would imagine that Jameis is the one that's incredibly disappointed about that, because go look at his numbers. They're not that bad. They actually were pretty good.
The most efficient of his career there. No, like Jameis has a stigma attached to him, obviously, but he was playing good football. It turns out maybe spending a year behind Drew Brees, learning behind Brees and Sean Payton, and then the humbling experience of not getting that fifth-year option picked up by the team that took you number one overall and having to kind of sing for your supper in essence. I think that had a positive impact on Jameis, but that team's got some pieces to it, man. I think that considering how late in the game that coaching position opened up, I think they're fortunate to have a candidate like Brian Flores available. So I like I said, I hope that it works out for him. It's a heck of a gig to land. Usually we're talking about coaches taking over teams. It's not often that they take over teams that are in position to win. You're usually talking about teams that are struggling. I think that's what makes New Orleans opening so enticing. That's what made the Vikings opening so enticing. And that's what makes the Dolphins opening so enticing, is that this is going to be the first time in since the turn of the century that the Dolphins will hire a new coach who inherits a winning roster, who inherits a team with a winning record the previous season. So whoever it is, whether it's Mike McBride, who I think is the leader in the clubhouse right now, or Kellen Moore, or maybe a third candidate that just hasn't been reported yet, I think that they have something to work with more so than their predecessors.
And by the way, it'll be the second time Wanstead inherited a winning roster from Jimmy Johnson.
Well, yeah, since turn of the century. So I guess he was technically hired in 2000.
Yeah. So it was those guys. But for me, where you and I are going to disagree, I think it's going to be another disaster wherever he goes, and it'll be even more magnified there. I think this is all Adam Gase all over again. The best thing that can happen with Flo, this is where you and I are going to disagree, is that he needs to be humbled. Adam Gase was not humbled. Adam Gase got a job right away, and it made him feel like everything he did in Miami was right. And so that's where he ended up being wrong. And I think Flo needs to be humbled. So the next time he goes, he can learn from the mistakes he made. If he gets a job right away, he'll blame everything on Miami, and he'll think he wasn't the problem, and the mess will continue. Belichick got humbled. Others have been humbled in the past. I think Flo needs a little humbling a little bit before he gets that next opportunity. I think it would be the best thing for him. I think it's a guaranteed failure if he goes the next go around right away. That's just me. I just think it's Gase all over again.
Yeah, I don't disagree with the humbling part, but I think being fired after back-to-back winning seasons is humbling enough. That's somebody looking at you and saying, like, I don't care about the results. I just don't want you here. I think that's humbling in its own right. The fact that teams are not beating down his door to hire him, like we said, he lost out on the Giants gig to Brian Dable, which, he might have gotten it if Joe Shane was not hired as the general manager.
Maybe.
Again, it's my understanding that Brian Dable.
The cynical one in me, being in this business for 32 years now, when they brought in Reggie McKenzie, I knew they weren't hiring Reggie McKenzie. I almost felt like they brought Reggie McKenzie over to go, all right, Reggie, so tell us about Flo. What were the issues with Flo, this and that? And I wonder what Reggie McKenzie said about him, because I would imagine he's not going to trash him. And he probably defended him as much as he could to a certain extent. But that was the cynical one in me. When they brought in Reggie McKenzie, I'm going, oh, shit, this is a scouting report on Flo.
I mean, that's what I think it was reported that the Giants called Miami's brass and just basically got hey, what was Flo like in the building? And they gave him glowing reviews. So whoever they called had Flo's back. It's an interesting situation how quickly the landscape works in this league. Like I was saying, it's my understanding Brian Daboll wanted the Miami gig badly before Joe Schoen was hired in New York. So I'm not sure what the timeline is inside of this building in Miami Gardens. I'm not sure if they're deliberately taking their time, if they, were wasting their time. I'm not sure if they struggled to get interviews. I don't know what the holdup was here, but it is my understanding that before Joe Schoen was hired in New York, that Brian Daboll to Miami was, there was high interest in both sides.
And they wanted him. I know they wanted him badly. I know that they wanted him, but something there. And I think the Schoen thing, I think you're right. I think the Schoen thing made him feel comfortable because he would have to inherit the defense here. Here he's going to have a little more power at tweaking everything. And he's already been working with Schoen. So that's there's a comfort zone. And believe it or not, Daniel Jones physically is kind of like the same quarterback they just left. Not exactly, but I'm just saying that he's a big athletic guy that can run around and has a decent arm. So there's a lot of similarities that I wonder they feel like, well, a lot of things I was doing in Buffalo, I might be able to do it with this kid. Whether they can or not is another thing, but you kind of start putting the pieces together and it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel Jones is kind of like minimum wage Josh Allen, I guess.
Right.
Like,
that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that.
He's athletic. He's athletic enough to make plays outside of the pocket. We haven't seen it a lot. He was bad last year. And the Giants supporting cast is not bad, man. Like the O-line is, but they have receivers. They've got a tight end in Evan Ingram who creates matchup issues when he's healthy. They obviously have Saquon Barkley who, when he's healthy, can be a difference maker.
That's the problem there. I don't know. Will Saquon be Saquon ever again is the question, man. That's the scary
part. Even without him, I think it was Devontae Booker comes in and plays, I don't think there's much of a difference, much of a drop-off in play between Barkley and Booker. There are pieces over there. I think that Daboll is what makes him a good coach at this stage of his career is his ability to extract the most out of his players. He forges, really tight-knit relationships with his guys. And because of that, guys want to play for Brian Daboll. And I think that he's going to get the most out of we're going to see what the ceiling is for that Giants team because Daboll will get the most out of them. And if they're not good, I think Schoen and Daboll say, all right, well, we tried as currently constructed for a year. Let's go ahead and put our real footprint in it.
It's our Edge Energy Drink, Miami Dolphins Insider Report. Here's where you get the edge on your Miami Dolphins. And by the way, you can follow Marcel on Twitter at Marcel_LJ. Marcel, when we hear Tom Brady obviously is going to retire now, and I was talking about this earlier, if there's something that you got to do right now in this offseason, and you were talking about X, and I think X will be dealt only a couple reasons. One, the knee eventually will give out. There's too many scopes there, so you've got to be careful there. And two, I don't think you can sign all the people you need and keep everybody. And with those two corners. Plus, you've got to play Iggy at one point or another and find out whether you made the right pick or not. And I think this is the year where they trade X and they bring in Iggy and maybe a veteran to back up Iggy as an insurance policy or something along those lines. But long story short, you've got to retool this whole thing. If Tom Brady's leaving, there's 800 free agents ready for Tampa. You got to go get Ryan Jensen. That would be one of my top targets right away. I want to solidify the middle of that line and make sure that that quarterback doesn't have a crumbling pocket every single time. So my center and my guards have to be Studley. I'd go after Jensen right away. Your thoughts on that?
And see, this is where I think the head coach is going to make a massive difference, because when you look at a guy like who I said I think is a leader in the clubhouse and Mike McDaniel, when you watch the way that San Francisco's offense works, the way he creatively gets his linemen in space to block for playmakers, the things that he does, I mean, it's blown up on the internet, but putting Trent Williams in motion, like that's terrifying. But
Yeah.
it's brilliant. You don't see teams doing that. And I think that's the kind of innovation where you don't necessarily need to have top of the line offensive linemen. You don't need market setting offensive linemen. I think that he's the kind of guy who can look for specifics and kind of moneyball it and get guys that are going to work within his system. So I think it really depends on who the coach is. But I think prior to number one, you sign Emmanuel Ogbah.
I agree with you, except for that position. Center, you can't moneyball that one. You have to have a great center. Every great quarterback usually has one nasty center in front of him running the show and taking care of everything. That's why I say that I would go a little bit overboard to make sure Tua has a nasty guy in front of him that's a stud. That's just me.
Yeah. I mean, spend the money at center. Spend the money on Emmanuel Ogbah. Spotrac's got him at 3 years, $30 million market value. Obviously, it's not going to cost that much. It's going to be more. But with you got $70 million to play with, go ahead and play with it. I agree that you can't be paying X and Byron Jones what you're paying,
everybody
what
else.
they're paying them,
and everybody else.
There's a reason that you don't see that in the NFL. You don't see $30 million going to your cornerback position. I think it's unsustainable. One of them has to go. I would say one of them's got to go. You're going to get more for X, but he's also the better player. So it's going to be up to, the new coach to decide what he wants to base his defense around. And then this is something that I think we need to start talking more about this offseason, and I'm going to start writing it. Bring in a quarterback who can challenge Tua Tagovailoa for the starting job. Don't bring in a backup. Don't bring back Jacoby Brissett. With all due respect to Jacoby.
Oh, God, no, please.
Good guy.
No.
There's a drop-off when he bring in a guy who can push.
But wait a minute. Hold on. But here's a problem with that right now, Marcel. If you want to sign everybody and you want to add a quarterback to competition, that's too much. It's too much because if you want a legit quarterback for competition, then you're going to pay a lot of money. I think at this point, you either got to develop the kid and commit to him and give him what I would give him. Somebody brought this up, and I thought it was an excellent idea. I'd give him a Teddy Bridgewater because Teddy, mentally is ahead of like most quarterbacks. The only problem with Teddy was that the good Lord did not give him enough ability to exercise his brain so he could go out and be a Hall of Famer. But Teddy would be exceptional as his backup because I think cerebrally, if I said that right, he can mentally, communicate with this kid, help him read defenses, do the things that Tua needs next to him as a backup court, like Don Strock did for Dan Marino at times. Be his eyes and ears, be that leader for him on the sidelines. I would get a guy like that instead. This year, I would focus on developing him and make him feel comfortable. All you've done for 2 years is make him feel uncomfortable the entire time. I think you've got to turn the page for 1 year where you focus on him and building the offense and finding out whether the kid can do it or not. That's all for me.
And, I'm glad that you mentioned Teddy because you know what? Teddy can push you for a starting job. Teddy might not keep it for the whole year. Teddy can push for a starting job. Tyrod Taylor can push for a starting job. The Jimmy Garoppolo.
I love Tyrod is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, but his accuracy will burn him every time and twice on Sundays. Love him, but he's not accurate enough ever to be a starting quarterback. That's my problem with Tyrod. But go ahead.
The thing is, he's not like think of a random backup quarterback here, man. Like he's not like a Case Keenum. Yeah, he's not like a bad example, but he's not like a career backup. He is a guy who is capable of coming in and starting games. Mitch Trubisky, see what that reclamation project in Buffalo is like, man. Like, there's not a lot of teams that are ready for a bridge quarterback right now. So I don't know what Trubisky's options are going to be, but I get making Tua comfortable. I understand that. But the league is not comfortable, man. You ask any coach out there, they're going to say there are no guaranteed starting jobs. Unless you're
No, I
Pat
get that.
Mahomes and Josh Allen, there's no guarantees, man. I think Tua needs that fire under his butt here. I think that you could see there's no threat from Jacoby Brissett.
I don't.
It's do or die. I'm a believer in immersion, man, in trial by fire.
Do you think that guy really needs fire? Really? I don't see that in Tua. I think he's the ultimate pro. I think that guy plays the hardest he can. What I think he needs is actual support, is what he hasn't had. That's why I would get a Teddy, because a Teddy would help him on the mental side to develop the game, because Teddy obviously knows defenses better than Tua does at this level. I would love to see Teddy pass on, his experience and intelligence to a kid like this at this point in his career. That's, to me, see, the work ethic stuff. Nobody that has a hip injury like him in November is ready for September. He doesn't lack work ethic. He doesn't lack character. He doesn't lack fire. I think he has all of those things. I think he's one of those guys that doesn't need that kind of stuff to be that. I think he is that already as it is. You don't agree with that?
I'm not saying that he is not. I'm saying it goes one or two ways. Either one, this guy is good enough that if Tua slips, can take over that job. Or two, if Tua is hurt, which he has been in each of his first two seasons, you have a high-level backup who can keep the load going. If they had competent quarterback play during that 7-game losing, or during the 4 games that Tua missed this year, maybe they turn around and win. Maybe they beat the Raiders. Maybe they beat Indianapolis.
Yeah.
But they weren't getting anything out of that position. So I think, at best, you find a guy who can, if Tua is not up to par, if Tua doesn't improve and doesn't inject life into this offense, you've got a guy who can take over. Or two, if Tua is injured, as Tua often is, you have somebody you're not going to see a catastrophic drop like we did this season. It seemed like as soon as Tua left that game, the life was gone from this team until he came back. And it still took a couple weeks to get it back. But it didn't seem like a team that was confident in what its offense could provide without Tua at the helm. So I think you need to improve the backup quarterback position. Can we meet in the middle and say that you got to improve the backup quarterback position?
Oh, yeah, please. Jabroni Brisket is not the guy, bro. No, definitely not. I want a capable backup, a guy that can fill in, but I also want a guy that can bring a lot of experience and help Tua in the development, because I think that's really, really important. Like I said, like a Don Strock, that it was capable of starting and playing if you needed it, but was the exceptional backup because he was kind of like a coach. And that's the way I see Teddy. I think Teddy is just really, man. Teddy's the guy that frustrates me the most, because I wish the Lord would have given him just a little bit more athleticism, and the guy would have been just a monster in the NFL. I really believe that, man. All right, let's wrap it up with this, Marcel. Excellent debut here. Mike McDaniel, when does he get hired? Because they're not going to hire Kellen Moore, so come on. Mike McDaniel, when does he get hired?
All right. Well, how about I can end our segment with just a little bit of a scoop. It's my understanding that McDaniel is interviewing with the team today. If things go well today, I haven't heard anything on Kellen Moore. Jerry Jones seems to believe that he's going to stay, and I don't think Jerry's coming out and speaking out of his rear end if he's
I love
not sure.
I love how Jerry cockblocks everything on that organization. Like, forget about it. Like, it's amazing. It doesn't matter if you're the head coach. It's the owner outside the locker room holding the press conference that matters. It's just amazing. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, and I think that we could see Mike McDaniel, given his introductory press conference by the end of the week. I think it's a possibility. I don't want anybody to come away from this saying Marcel said this was going to happen. I think it is a possibility, because that second interview, like I said, to my understanding, is today. So, these things can work fast. They're running out of candidates at this point. I think that just from a rational standpoint, and we're not hearing anything from the team. So ultimately, we're all trusting our sources here. but we're not hearing anything official. But from a reasonable and a rational standpoint, it makes sense if you are dragging your feet through the process that you're waiting on the guy whose team made it all the way to the NFC Championship game. So now that that is done, I think that we start seeing that sense of urgency come up. I had a league source who was pretty familiar with the Dolphins interview process tell me there was no rush from the Dolphins. The Dolphins are in no rush last week.
That's what it seems like.
I think that changes this week. I think McBride would be a good hire. You can consider me McDaniel is a good hire. Consider me Team McDaniel. There's a lot of concern whether Cam and Kellen Moore are ready. Looking at Kellen Moore's resume, he is the epitome of not ready yet. I think Mike McDaniel's still been around the league he spent 15 years in the NFL.
15 years, yeah, he's been around.
He's been around
a little bit.
Plenty of staffs, look, and there's a concern about whether or not he calls plays in San Francisco. It is my understanding that he calls plays in San Francisco. It's a split responsibility, but he does have the ability to call plays. He does have that responsibility, and he designs them as well. So I think he does a lot more than some message boards are suggesting. So I don't think that should be a concern.
To piggyback on your thing, what Shanahan does is it's fourth down, it's third down, some of those critical downs. That's where Shanahan will give his 2 cents, which what you think Andy Reid doesn't give his 2 cents? You think, any offensive minded coach is going to check in a little bit on that moment because it's kind of, so yeah, I'm with you there. There's no doubt about it. And I tweeted this out also over the weekend. The modus operandi of Chris Grier has been to take his time, signing Flo after the playoffs, trade away Tunsil after several offers, exhaust every option until he was forced to trade Minkah Fitzpatrick. No real hurry to pay X-Man. It was Flo that got him paid. It wasn't Chris Grier that was bending over backwards trying to pay him. It was Flo. So why would any of us expect a quick decision on the head coach? Grier has shown you that he is very patient at doing anything that he does. He takes his time at all of it. That's kind of been the MO.
And I mean, I can kind of respect playing, dancing to the beat of your own drum, not being influenced by outside forces, blah, blah, blah. There's a fine line between, lacking a sense of urgency and taking your time. And I think that the Dolphins are more or less straddling that right now. But if Mike McDaniel is their guy and has been all along, they're the only ones interviewing him. So there is no reason to sprint through the process.
I'm with you there. There he is. Debut, baby, Marcel Louis-Jacques. And who knows, maybe a little nugget was dropped there. Follow him on Twitter, Marcel_LJ, and catch him twice a week here doing his thing exclusively with our Edge Energy Drink Insiders Report. Thank you, my brother, for living on the edge and giving us the edge on the Miami Dolphins.
Appreciate you, man. Looking forward to next time already.
You got it, baby. There you go. Marcel, let's do it. Sean? He's finding the clothes. Does he have it? Sean? There we go.
You now have the edge on the Miami Dolphins with the Edge Energy Drink Miami Dolphins Report featuring ESPN's Marcel Louis-Jacques. Get the energy drink that's delicious, smooth, and has no aftertaste. You can only order Edge Energy Drink at myedgedrink.com. That's myedgedrink.com.
Hey, I started this segment with a new can. It's about here right now. It's so smooth. It is smooth. It's delicious. That's what I love about Edge Energy Drink. By the way, you can get the link right below. You can order it right here on our YouTube page. Edge Energy Drink. You're going to love it. By the way, it's also great with vodka. I had it with a little Tito's vodka. I had it with a little Grey Goose over the weekend. Yes, John, I had a little more. On Saturday night, I get here, and I was freezing my ass off. And I got home and I was just like, I'm gonna set up a drink for myself. And I got a little Grey Goose and Edge. And I enjoyed it. and I had to chill out for the night, and I had to thaw out and all that, and this thing makes vodka taste so smooth. It's awesome. Edge energy drink. Folks, myedgedrink.com. Go to the website, myedgedrink.com. Below is the link, Edge energy drink. You can order it. Done. I drink these things. I think I have by the way, John, I have 2 left. So I'm almost done with all the Edge. You know it. All right. What else do we have on the program? And great job by Marcel, man. Great job by him. What else do we have here? Do I have anything else? Damon Arnett was cut by the Chiefs over the weekend. You saw he had the assault charges in Vegas. The Dolphins also. Remember I told you guys that he just it's a lack of maturity, and you'll never find out if the kid can play because he's a punk. What a shame, man. What a shame. Johnny Fever passes away. Unfortunately, Howard Hessman, the man that played Johnny Fever on WKRP, passed away over the weekend. He was 81 years old. I will take 81 every day of the week and twice on Sundays. Nick Cannon is having baby number 8 with Bree Tessie. She's Johnny Manziel's former girlfriend or wife. Former wife. She just got her divorce, actually. She just got her divorce finalized with Johnny and now is with Nick Cannon. Nick will be so broke. You can't have 8 babies and, 5, 6, 7 different baby mamas? Dude, you're done. You're done. You've got to be like Bill Gates or something to survive that kind of alimony. You've got to be Dr. Dre. You've got to be like so filthy rich. Like you've got to be big, dude. Like Jay-Z or something. You've got to be The Rock. You've got to have like a lot of cash, man, to survive that. Jeff Bezos or something. You can't have that many baby mamas and kids and survive and have money left over. It's, it's crazy. Tell you, Nick. And I guess she was looking for somewhere to pick up some money for the next 18 years, and I guess she found it. Amazing. By the way, Poopart sends me Alex Smith's passer rating his 2 seasons with Harbaugh was 95.1, and then he goes, his passer rating with Andy Reid was 94.8. Does that make him the better QB, or do the stats, the yards, the touchdowns make it better? I would go with the stats, yards, and touchdowns there, Alan. That doesn't make him a better QB because he had a little bit of 0.3 of a QB rating. When the difference between the touchdowns in San Francisco and in Kansas City are night and day, not 0.3 of a point. The yards, not even close. Come on, man. I get it. He wants to try to defend it, but there's no way. No one in their right mind can say that Alex Smith played his best football in San Francisco and not Kansas City. Come on, man. In Kansas City, I actually said, wow, his BBs dropped. Something that never happened to Ryan Tannehill. That's the problem with Ryan Tannehill. He plays with no BBs. The only thing he can do is take a beating. But, that's his impression of a punching bag. Oh, Lordy. What can I tell you? You know what you need to do is take 2 Nature Bees. There you go. And by the way, thank you for the shirts. Got me a little Nature Bee. Appreciate you, Jeff. Thank you for sending us the shirts. Let's see. Costco triple distilled vodka is a dead ringer for Grey Goose. Really? I got to go check it out. A little vodka and a little Edge. I need to get another one. I'm out. But anyway, that's nothing wrong with that. Irving goes, Big O, I disagree. I go by passer rating and QBR. Well, you go ahead and go by anything you want. I'll go by a hell of a lot more touchdowns and less interceptions and a hell of a lot more yards and better play. I'll go with that. That, to me, is the sign that he's better. Big O, where's the merch, man? I'm disappointed. We got to get the merch going. Okay. All right, we are out of here. Sean Stanley, excellent work by you as always. We thank Alan Poupar, even though he's dead wrong about Alex Smith. Ira Winderman, and, of course, Marcel Louis-Jacques. Hell of a performance today by Marcel with he gave you the edge today, baby. He gave you guys the edge. Gave you a little nugget, huh? What are you going to do? You're only going to get other outlets locally in town. All they can do is break wind. They're not going to break any news. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. I love you all.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show. Judge, you tuned in to the high.